Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Start with Eternal Mangekyo refuses to form a team with the school Beauties. Chapter 1. Ding. The fishing system reminds you that prey has been hooked. Please return to the pond to deal with it in time and start the next fishing. Coming. Finally come. Lin ran, who was lying on the bed and thinking wildly. His eyes lit up and he immediately activated his consciousness space. As his spiritual consciousness penetrated, a small and exquisite green grass pond appeared in front of Lin Ran. Lin Ran had been to this place once 7 days ago, so it was no stranger to him. But the last time I came to swing. This time, I came to gain something. It is a very simple system: swing, harvest, repeat, and gain talent. Lin Ran likes it for its simplicity. I just don't know what the quality of the harvest is. Lin Ran walked quickly to the pond and gently pulled the fishing rod up from the pond. So, at the position of the fishhook, Lin Ran saw a pair of blood-red eyes. Ding! Fishing in the heavens is successful. Congratulations to the host for getting the product, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Full Skill Grandmaster version. Lin Ran stretched out his hand to take over the two blood-red eyes, and his heart surged. Good guy, how can such a powerful thing be caught? Although their talent awakening ceremony will not start until tomorrow, Lin Ran already knows a lot about various talent information. From his judgment, as long as the Eternal Mangekyo can be fully developed, it will definitely not be weaker than any SSS level talent. In fact, it is very likely to be much stronger than them. After all, it is the full skill Grandmaster version. Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, Kamui, Distinguished Heavenly Gods, Suzano, Izanagi, Izanami. Which of these eye skills is not enough for heaven-defying existence? Even the 5 major functions brought by its basic capabilities are quite easy to use. Observation eye function that gives extremely strong dynamic vision and observation ability. Able to perform visual illusions, a basic illusion function used to confuse, control, and invade the opponent's mind. The magic mirror function that breaks the illusion cast by the enemy and reflects it back to the opponent. A magical shackle technique function capable of hypnosis, torture, and restraining enemies. The ability to manipulate objects by touching an object with your hands to leave a mental mark, and then using your pupil power to remotely control the object imprinted with mental power. If we really want to find some shortcomings, I'm afraid the only problem is that the mana consumption is too high. Its various pupil techniques consume a lot of mana, and he does not have the pervert physical ability of Uchiha Madara, nor does he have the obvious plug-in bonus of Hashirama cells, so he may not be able to use it arbitrarily for the time being. But Lin Ran was not discouraged. Firstly, he has not yet awakened his talent, and secondly, the all-heaven fishing system can still be used. His future potential can only be described as unlimited. Why rush? Lin Ran pressed these 2 eyes onto his eyes. I have to say that this is indeed the genuine Sharingan, and it perfectly inherits the plug-and-play function of Sharingan. Just after putting the eyes on, Lin Ran had already fully mastered its usage. In an instant, in this grassy pond, the flow of energy, the blowing of the breeze, the swaying of the grass, and the ripples in the pond were all visible. It is 100 times clearer than before the Sharingan was inserted. In this case, you might as well try out the effects of various pupil techniques here. Amaterasu. Lin Ran concentrated his magic power in his right eye and aimed at a big tree next to the pond. Boom! The big tree was immediately covered in black flames. The flames crazily gnawed away at the life force and vitality of the big tree. In less than 10 seconds, the big tree was burned down to the ground. However, this spiritual space is formed by the system. No matter what kind of damage Lin Ran causes in it, it will be repaired as before soon. So Lin Ran is not worried about this at all. Kamui. Lin Ran activated the offensive effect of Kamui in his left eye. A space-torn Uzumaki immediately twisted out from the trunk of the big tree that had just returned to its original state, directly breaking it into 2 pieces. Many of its debris were also sent to the Kamui space. Kamui. Lin Ran activated the transfer effect of Kamui in his right eye again. After a short period of waiting, Lin Ran teleported himself into the Kamui space. There happened to be the debris of those trees under my feet. However, these debris are just products of the system's energy and should dissipate soon. At the same time, it should be due to his own ability. The current Kamui space is not large, and it is extremely deserted. Lin Ran shook his head and transferred himself back to the consciousness space. After returning, Lin Ran set his sights again on the big tree that had been repaired by the system again. Susanoo. Lin Ran penetrated the magic power all over his body, and a dark blue skeleton arm immediately appeared from behind his right arm. Under Lin Ran's command, this arm is flexible and can be used both offensively and defensively. It is extremely useful. As the attack command was issued, he cut off the 1-meter diameter tree with one stroke of his hand knife. Call. After taking back Susanoo, Lin Ran rubbed his sore eyes and took a deep breath. It seems that with his current ability, if he uses Susanoo, he can only summon a skeleton arm at most. There is still a long way to go to display the entire skeleton, as well as flesh and blood, meridians, exclusive weapons, exclusive armor, and even complete and powerful forms. Moreover, in just a short period of time, Lin Ran's body's magic reserves were almost emptied, and it also put a heavy burden on his eyes. It seems that if I want to fully utilize the various abilities of this eternal Mangekyo, I need to expand my blood and mana recovery methods as much as possible. In this case, the best thing to do is to catch another rod quickly. Maybe we can catch something like this. Lin Ran picked up the fishing rod, chose the same technique as last time, and suddenly threw the fish hook into the pond. Ding! Fishing has begun. The fishing time is unknown, and the rewards are unknown. Everything is possible. Please wait patiently. Even the system prompts are exactly the same as last time. Okay, let him fish slowly. After glancing at the spiritual space that was intact again, Lin Ran withdrew his consciousness. After opening his eyes, Lin Ran returned to his rental house. The rental house is not big, just one bedroom and one living room, but it is quite neat and clean. Apparently only Lin Ran lives there alone. After traveling to this world, Lin Ran was already an orphan in an orphanage. During these years, with his own efforts, Lin Ran was successfully admitted to the city's key high school, and he ranked among the best in theoretical knowledge, and he never neglected physical exercise. In addition, Lin Ran looks brave and handsome. Many people are extremely optimistic about the awakening of his talent, thinking that he will be one of the best among men. Of course, there are also many people who are jealous of him and hate him. They think that he will definitely fall from the altar and eventually disappear from everyone. But Lin Ran now owns the All Heavens fishing system and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Even if his talent awakens the most rubbish F-level talent, he can still accept it, and his score in the college entrance examination will not be bad. However, Lin Ran still hopes from the bottom of his heart to awaken a more powerful talent. Preferably a talent that provides recovery. Who doesn't want to be stronger? With bright dreams for the future, Lin Ran fell into a deep sleep. 3077, June 5, 8 o'clock in the morning. Jonggu City, the city's #1 key high school, playground. The talent awakening ceremony is finally coming. I have been waiting for this day for a long time. Hey, I'm a little scared. If I awaken a low-level talent below D level, I'm afraid I'll have to do nothing in this life. If you think about it better, if you awaken a high-level C-level talent, wouldn't it mean that you can take off immediately? You can be more bold. It's just a fantasy anyway. Why not imagine that you have S-level talent? Or even SSS level? What a beautiful dream. Among so many awakened people every year, there are only one who can awaken C-level talents and above, let alone the higher-level ones. I don't have that many ideas. I just hope that my talent can be used to some extent. For example, awakening the flame talent or something. Even if the level is very low and you can't do a big career, at least you can be a good cook. Then I want to awaken an ice talent and make sashimi for others. Quote. On the playground, students were everywhere talking. Every year during the high school graduation season, various schools hold such an awakening ceremony to help students awaken their talents for free. This talent awakening will determine a person's potential and destiny to a great extent. Okay, students, please be quiet. At this time, Zhou Yi, the principal of the city's key #1 high school, appeared on the platform in the center. Zhou Yi has an A-level talent and is a 4th-level awakened person. Even without the use of amplification equipment, it is easy to send the sound to the ears of every student. Zhou Yi is naturally quite famous in the city's key #1 high school. As soon as he opened his mouth, the originally noisy playground suddenly became quiet. Zhou Yi nodded with satisfaction and continued. What we are going to do later is the awakening ceremony for each of you. Following the names that were read out in order from student number, everyone came to the stage to perform the awakening ceremony. We have divided your 30 classes into 10 groups. The awakening ceremonies of the 10 groups will be held together and assigned to different directors. Everyone should already know their group, so I won't say any more gossip. It should be noted that if you touch the awakening stone tablet for about 10 to 60 seconds, the stone tablet will help you complete your awakening. No matter what the outcome of the awakening is, I hope that everyone will not give up their efforts easily. Even with low-level talents, it's not like no one has reached the level of a 5th level or even 6th level awakener. In addition to the starting point given to you by your talent, your own efforts are also an extremely important part. Although it is rare in the end, it is at least not impossible. After listening to Zhou Yi's words, the students present all nodded solemnly and took their positions according to their groups. Seeing that everyone had settled down, Zhou Yi smiled slightly. Then I hereby announce that the 3077 Awakening Ceremony of Jianggu City No. 1 Senior High School has officially begun. Wow! Following Zhou Yi's words, purple light suddenly flashed on the 10 awakening stone tablets. The students looked at these stone tablets with bright eyes and were full of energy. The group Lin Ran was assigned to was the third group. The first person in their group to play was a tall and thin man named Li Ming. I saw Li Ming walking forward quickly and placing his hand on the awakening stone tablet. The awakening stone tablet immediately spurted out countless purple runes and penetrated into Li Ming's body. Not long after, it got back into the stone tablet from his body. The result of Li Ming's awakening was immediately displayed on the stone tablet, and Director Duan also read the result loudly. 3 groups of Li Ming, E-level talent, hard body technique. Hard body technique is a talent that can temporarily strengthen and harden certain parts of one's body. If the level is higher, it will be quite useful in combat. But if you are like Li Ming and only have E-level, I'm afraid you will have to use this thing in some strange place. After getting the result, Li Ming didn't look very disappointed. He jogged down the platform happily. He didn't know what he was happy about. The next person to play is Zhang San, who is also in the third group. Team 3 Zhang San, F-level talent, Insightful Eye. The talent of Eye of Insight is used to strengthen your eyesight, which is equivalent to raising your eyesight to a higher level. If there was an A-class or S-class, it might be able to serve a function similar to the Sharingan observation effect. But F-grade, it's not much different from a whiteboard. In particular, this Zhang San is still a highly myopic student, and to him, the Insightful Eye is the hottest among the hottest. Zhang San's face turned pale immediately after receiving the result. He held his head in his hands and fell to one knee, obviously unable to accept this outrageous result. He was so furious that he fainted, causing a commotion at the scene. However, the school seemed to be prepared for this situation. The medical staff waiting nearby quickly came over with a stretcher and carried Zhang San away in a hurry. Ding Shi from the 4th group has an A-level talent. Affinity to the earth. Can use the power of the earth element. At this time, there was a small sensation on the playground, and everyone cast envious glances in the direction of Ding Shi. Even the way Zhou Yi looked at him was full of tenderness and appreciation. The talents that high schools can send to universities every year are related to the status of each high school. Every additional advanced talent above sea level brings a lot of glory to the principal's face. Ding Shi himself was so excited that he jumped several times and punched the air 3 times before walking off the platform. As for the third group, it was finally Lin Ran's turn. Because of the Zhudian fishing system, Lin Ran's mood is much better than these people. He soon walked onto the platform slowly, and gently put his hand on it. However, at this moment, a roar suddenly broke out on the playground. Even Zhou Yi's eyes widened in surprise, staring in the direction of Group 7 in disbelief. 7 groups of Luo Qingyan, SSS level talents, holy angels. Lin Ran, who was awakening, couldn't help but be attracted by the center of the noise. Luo Qingyan, the school beauty of their city's key number 1 high school and who often asked her for homework, actually awakened the rarest and most powerful SSS talent. And it is also a holy angel of extremely high quality. The seventh group was completely obscured by the sacred light brought by Luo Qingyan's awakening, making it impossible to see clearly. Visions caused by awakening are only possible if you are S level or higher. The stronger the ability, the more obvious the vision will be. But before Lin Ran could fully understand the situation, the noise that erupted around him was no worse than Luo Qingyan's. At the same time, the vision of five-colored glow also completely engulfed Lin Ran. 3 groups of Lin Ran, SS level talent, natural spirit body. As the purple runes returned to the stone tablet, Lin Ran's talent also emerged. At the moment when his talent was awakened, Lin Ran felt an explosive life force spurting out of his body. This feeling of comfort and contentment that comes from the heart, if Lin Ran didn't have high enough self-control, he might have done something on the spot. Lin Ran took a deep breath and calmed down the restlessness in his heart. Soon, Lin Ran thought of the existence of natural spirits from the knowledge he learned. This is a heaven-defying existence with a constant level of SS. Natural spirit body. It can greatly enhance its own vitality, physical strength, and life recovery speed, and has extremely high affinity and resistance to all natural elements. Whether affinity is a useful thing or not, it mainly depends on what development direction you will choose in the future. After all, natural spirits do not directly grant the awakened person the ability to use natural elements. For example, the A-level talent Earth affinity awakened by Ding Shi previously gave him the effect of using the ability to use the Earth element. Therefore, the effect brought by the affinity of the natural spirit body is more reflected in the aspect of resistance. For example, if Ding Shi uses the Earth element to attack Lin Ran, a large part of the damage caused to Lin Ran will be resisted by the natural spirit body. But if that's all, the natural spirit body is really not worthy of a constant SS level talent level. The reason why it is so terrifying lies in its previous effect. Super greatly strengthen your own vitality, physical strength, and life recovery speed. His huge improvement was really huge. Even when they first woke up, there were 10 times more than normal people. If you practice for a long time and develop the talent effect, you can even reach 100 times or more. A super blood cow with pure resistance and built-in recovery. This is the ultimate secret of the natural spirit body. Its only problem is that it lacks attack methods and basically can only rely on various magic weapons. It is a relatively pure tea. Unless you are more comfortable developing talents in the later period and giving them special effects. But that's all for later. In the early stage, it really only has a defensive effect. This may be the only reason why natural spirits cannot reach the SSS level. But for Lin Ran, who has the Zutian fishing system, this thing is really suitable. He really doesn't lack any means of attack. The most lacking thing is this method of recovery and stacking of flesh. Lin Ran walked off the stage with a smile under the envious and respectful eyes of everyone. It really comes to whatever you want. Lin Ran was extremely satisfied with the talent of this natural spirit. At this time, Principal Zhou Yi was on the platform, his hands were trembling with excitement. His widened eyes were full of enthusiasm and excitement. Oh my God, what day is it today? My own school can actually awaken 2 of the top talents. An SSS level holy angel, an SS level natural spirit. The 2 of them will definitely become the most dazzling new stars during the college entrance examination, and even have the potential to enter the top 10 in the country. Getting admitted to the top university in the Dragon Kingdom, Qingjing Yanyan University, is a piece of cake. Even if there is an S-level student in normal times, for most schools, it would be a big deal. Moreover, the impact of an S-level can be greatly reflected in the next year's enrollment. Now, I have 2 peerless geniuses above S-level. Zhou Yi didn't dare to think about Jianggu City's number 1 senior high school and his own future. God is really helping me. The number 1 senior high school in Jianggu City, will definitely become famous all over the world with these 2 unparalleled talents. Brother Ran, can you take me with you for the college entrance examination? I have AC level fire talent, and my output is guaranteed. Put me down. You, a small C level talent, dare to touch Brother Saran. Brother Ran, choose me. I have awakened B level swordsmanship talent. When we form a team, we will definitely kill. It's a complete waste to combine your swordsmanship talent with a top-level frontline talent like Brother Ran. Give me B-level talent for archery. Quote. Because Lin Ran's student number was relatively low, their group was delayed again by Zhang San, who fainted. So now everyone else on the playground has almost awakened. Therefore, this group of people who are interested in taking the college entrance examination and hoping to achieve good results have entered the stage of competition for candidates in advance. As for Ding Shi, who had just awakened his A-level talent, he was not able to squeeze in front of Lin Ran because there were too many people. Ding Shi was so anxious that he was worried that Lin Ran would be kidnapped first by someone else. Due to the college entrance examination in Dragon Kingdom, the format was to download a dungeon, and it was also specifically stated that a team of up to 5 people could be formed. The purpose is to recommend everyone to match their abilities with each other and make use of their strengths to offset their weaknesses. This is also the standard equipment for the awakened ones when they go to perform tasks in forbidden areas in the future. As a natural spirit with SS level talent, Lin Ran is definitely the number 1 T in the college entrance examination. No one can refuse his joining. As for those with talents below C level, they didn't even have the courage to invite Lin Ran. After all, they also knew that Lin Ran would never like them no matter what. There are so many high-level talent DPS players who are not selected, so why choose them? It's definitely a brain show. Lin Ran had never seen this scene before, and he was so noisy by these people that he felt dizzy. He could only helplessly knock his aching head, preparing to tell everyone that he planned to do it alone. Just kidding, I have Eternal Mangekyo here, and I still need you to bring down the average. But at this moment, for some reason, the crowd consciously opened a passage, and a beautiful figure floated over. Lin Ran took a closer look and saw that it was Luo Qingyan, the school beauty who had just awakened the SSS level talent Holy Angel and was in the limelight. Luo Qingyan walked forward with a smile and took Lin Ran's arm. How about it, do you want to consider teaming up with me? You and I can definitely break through the college entrance examination copy directly. Luo Qingyan actually came to invite her to form a team, which surprised Lin Ran. After all, Luo Qingyan's SSS level talent, Holy Angel, is a fairly comprehensive hexagonal talent that can use the power of sacred light. Heal, restore, punish, protect, bless, you name it. Although it is slightly inferior in terms of output and frankness, and is somewhat auxiliary, it is definitely more than enough to cope with the college entrance examination. Even if you really want to become a combat-type Holy Angel in the future and major in punishment, it is not impossible. She still invites me like this, probably because she wants to rub her thigh. Lin Ran nodded thoughtfully. The difference between Luo Qingyan and herself was that no one invited her to form a team. Because everyone knows that Luo Qingyan is enough to clear the college entrance examination dungeon alone, and she will definitely not team up with them to get rid of points. But in the eyes of others, he is a pure T, and he definitely needs at least one powerful output hand to assist him. After all, everyone's final college entrance examination score is determined by a combination of multiple aspects. The number of people is also a very important part. The fewer people there are, the more extra points you get. Luo Qingyan relied on her SSS level Holy Angel talent. If she cleared the dungeon alone, her score might reach the top spot in the college entrance examination. So everyone didn't have this dream of letting Luo Qingyan take them there. But now, Luo Qingyan was actually willing to sacrifice her own points to bring Lin Ran together, which made many people jealous. Besides, by doing this, Luo Qingyan took away Lin Ran, the sweet potato in their eyes. To say that the output of the SSS level talent Holy Angel is not good is to compare with other SSS level talents. Facing B level, C level and other output talents like them, it is completely a dimensionality reduction attack and absolutely crushing. Ding Shi, who finally managed to get close to Lin Ran, lowered his head in frustration and was about to leave. Luo Qingyan actually takes care of Lin Ran so much, and is even willing to sacrifice herself on such a major matter as the college entrance examination. It really makes everyone next to me sour to death. Before the awakening ceremony, Luo Qingyan often consulted Lin Ran on various theoretical classes, and the relationship between the two seemed to be very close. During class, the two of them were always sitting at the back table by the window. Plus they were handsome and beautiful, so they seemed like a match made in heaven. It was really hard not to let people have some room for daydreams. Many people are staring at Lin Ran now, gnashing their teeth secretly. While venting his dissatisfaction with Lin Ran, he didn't dare to let Lin Ran find out. Just kidding, Lin Ran is also a genuine SS-level talent holder. How can B-level and C-level talent awakeners like them afford to offend? Lin Ran sighed as he realized that he had become the target of public criticism. The reason why the two seem to be quite familiar with each other is actually because they have a secret relationship. Because the two of them were childhood sweethearts who grew up in an orphanage from childhood to adulthood. Luo Qingyan was slightly younger at that time. She lived with Lin Ran, and Lin Ran basically took care of her. The relationship between the two was naturally very good. However, since they separated in the orphanage, the two went to different elementary schools, junior high schools and high schools. It wasn't until her senior year in high school that Luo Qingyan transferred from another high school, and the two met again, forming this distant but slightly close relationship. Lin Ran was extremely touched by Luo Qingyan's desire to help him. After all, from a normal perspective, without Luo Qingyan's help, Lin Ran would probably have to find other damage dealers to help. The effect is absolutely impossible to be better than hers. Even if Lin Ran was able to get admitted to Qingjing Yanyan University later, his score would be lower and he would not be able to get the best training resources. Luo Qingyan knew Lin Ran very well. She knew that Lin Ran, like her, was also a pauper. The training resources of high-end universities are indispensable to Lin Ran. So she came up with the idea of letting the two of them form a team to face the college entrance examination together. In this way, although her score will be affected to a certain extent, it can also help Lin Ran get a good score. It's equivalent to evening out the scores that the two of them could have gotten, and taking a relatively high average. Thinking of this, Lin Ran laughed and gave Luo Qingyan a hand but refused. Want to team up with me? Let's forget it. You are just an SSS-level talent awakener. You are a complete drag on me. Luo Qingyan's sweet smile immediately froze on her face, and she almost vomited blood all over Lin Ran. If there was no one else around, Luo Qingyan would definitely punch Lin Ran in the face right away. Why do you still dislike yourself so much based on his tone? As an SSS-level talent awakener, how could I not be worthy of him? Listening to his arrogant tone, I thought it was me, a C-level talent, who was shamelessly rubbing against him. The students who were watching were also in an uproar, looking at Lin Ran from head to toe as if they were looking at monsters. Lin Ran, is he crazy? Why don't you hug the holy angel's thick thighs? And what's more, it's just an SSS level. Doesn't he know that his talent is only SS level, and he is also a pure T? This guy can't be just like Fan Jin, who won the exam and became extremely happy and sad, and then went crazy, right? After Lin Ran finished speaking, he looked at the dull Luo Qingyan beside him and the classmates who were watching. He seemed to feel that what he just said was not satisfying enough, so he continued. For this college entrance examination, I plan to take no one with me and take it alone. The goal is naturally very simple. At least it must be our provincial champion. If you can also consider working hard and sprinting up to become the top pick in the country or something. Classmate Luo, I am very optimistic about your potential. I hope to see you as the second best student on the campus of Qingjing Yanyan University in the future. With that said, Lin Ran patted Luo Qingyan's shoulder, leaving everyone with their jaws on the floor, twisted their heads, and left with a quick stride. The corners of Luo Qingyan's mouth twitched again and again, but she finally restrained herself from having an attack. Lin Ran has now awakened the SS-level natural spirit body, which is very powerful. If you don't hit him, you'll be letting him enjoy it, and it might even shock you. But Luo Qingyan was not a fool. She quickly thought that Lin Ran was so angry with herself that he might have done it deliberately to drag her down. Otherwise, she who might have been the number one pick might have fallen out of the top 100 if the competition had been fiercer. Lin Ran is a grown man. He has a good reputation and must be proud of himself. Naturally, he cannot be so tough on his soft rice. This kind of thing can't be done reluctantly, so Lin Ran can only let it go. But as for what Lin Ran said about going solo, Luo Qingyan could only think that Lin Ran was farting. This should be nothing more than an excuse. Lin Ran will definitely find a thug who is at least A level to join him. Who doesn't know that the natural spiritual body has no offensive ability? And it is very likely that the thug is Ding Shi, who has awakened the A-level talent Earth affinity. As long as you can enter Qingjing Yanyan University, no matter how poor your cultivation resources are, it won't be any worse. After all, it is the top awakened university in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Even if a few scraps are spilled, it is enough to feed many people. If it really doesn't work, the worst thing you can do is pretend that you can't use up the training resources obtained by your high ranking and then give them to him. In this case, then you have to work hard to get a good ranking and get more and better training resources for the two of you. Although she had thought this through clearly, Luo Qingyan's anger did not subside much. Instead, she glanced angrily in the direction Lin Ran left, turned around and walked towards the other side. After all, one code equals another. Lin Ran dumped her face in front of so many people, and this debt will definitely be recovered in the future. As Luo Qingyan walked, she muttered, "Okay, since you don't want to accompany me to take the college entrance examination, then forget it. HMPH, when I get to Qingjing Yanyan University, you will have something good to look at. I want to see how arrogant you can be. Sooner or later, I'll smash that mouth of yours that's harder than iron." Only the people who were standing here and watching were left in a mess. What's going on with the two of them? Who knows, they really look like an quarreling young couple. Hey, let's break up. Maybe the quarrel will end at the end of the bed and the two of us will have to take the college entrance examination together in the end. I'm so envious. When will I have a strong female supporter who is willing to take care of me? Okay, brother, he is also an SS level talent awakener. He is handsome, so he can be favored by the Thigh Goddess. You have an E-level fire-breathing ability. Wouldn't it be over if you just keep working as your cook? Joe, I get angry when I mention this. Before I woke up, I said that I could just be a cook, but in the end I just became a cook. God, give me another chance. I want to be the god of fire. I'm dreaming. Are you still the god of fire? Be the god of fire with hammers. Wake up and go home to burn the Kong. Quote. Soon, Lin Ran returned to his rental house not far from the school. 3 days later, June 8th, was the day of the college entrance examination. Of course, besides that, there is one more important thing to do. That is, the fishing system of the heavens in the consciousness space is calling me again. Ding! The fishing sky system reminds you that prey has been hooked. Please return to the pond to deal with it in time. Just after the awakening ceremony ended, Lin Ran received a prompt. So, he quickly got rid of this group of people, eager to come back to see the results of the harvest. Unexpectedly, less than a day later, there would be a second harvest. When I first got the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, I had to wait for a whole week. It seems that this Zudian fishing system is really random. Seeing the familiar pond appear in front of him, Lin Ran took a decisive step forward and pulled the rod to reel in the line. Ding! Fishing in the heavens is successful. Congratulations to the host for getting the product, the soul ring. Oh, soul ring, what is this? Lin Ran looked at the orange ring in his hand with a demon skull inlaid in confusion. Then, the specific properties of the ring appeared in front of Lin Ran. Soul ring. Category: Special. Special Effect 1. Storage of utensils. Specific effect. It contains a storage space 500 meters long, 200 meters wide, and 10 meters high, which can freely store most non-living objects. Special Effect 2. Life Sacrifice. Specific effect. It can immediately restore 25% of the user's maximum magic power at the cost of consuming a small amount of the user's vitality. The cooling time is 25 seconds. Special Effect 3. Soul recognizes its master. Specific effect. This object is limited to the holder Lin Ran. It cannot be abandoned, cannot be transferred, cannot be destroyed, cannot be transformed, cannot be interfered with, and is eternal. Others cannot open the storage space. Whenever it is lost, it can be stored in the Vice Admiral in the consciousness space. It calls and returns. After seeing the 3 special effects of this thing, Lin Ran couldn't help but breathe heavily. What a powerful ring. Even just the top special effect is enough to sell it for a sky-high price. Space storage containers have always been valuable but not marketable. Even if it is a space ring less than 10 cubic meters in size, if you want to buy it with dragon coins, the base currency of the Dragon Kingdom, it will cost at least tens of millions. Not to mention, Lin Ran's ring has an internal space of 1 million square meters. If it were told, it would definitely be a shocking existence. After all, I have never heard of any space storage device with an internal space larger than 10,000 cubic meters. Even the largest space bracelet currently known is only 8,800 cubic meters. The second special effect of the soul ring, life sacrifice, may be useless to others, but if it falls into Lin Ran's hands. Having a natural spirit body, what he lacks most is the vast and infinite vitality. Now, Lin Ran, who has a special way to recover mana, has more confidence to just clear the college entrance examination copy. Originally, he refused Luo Qingyan because he really didn't want to hug her thigh and delay her progress. Secondly, I am quite confident in my eternal Mangekyo. It's better to just let Luo Qingyan single swipe over there, and rely on eternal Mangekyo to single swipe here. In this way, Luo Qingyan will not be affected, and her ranking will definitely not be bad, getting the best of both worlds. As for hiding his strength, Lin Ran completely forgot about it. I have a natural spirit body plus Kamui space. As long as I don't try hard to die, I won't die. Rising strong is the way to go. Anyway, there is a live broadcast of the college entrance examination, so it is not a secret thing. There are many things that you can't hide even if you want to. As for the third ability of this soul ring, it ensures that it will not be lost and will belong to you forever. This kind of unique sense of security is also deeply liked by Lin Ran. Dong dong dong. At this moment, the door of Lin Ran's rental house suddenly rang. Lin Ran was shocked, and quickly closed his consciousness space, put the soul ring on the index finger of his left hand, and then turned on Sharingan. The consciousness space is not like the Kamui space, where one's own entity is transferred into it. What it creates is just a virtual world that is almost the same as reality. During this process, his body was still outside, and only his spiritual power poured in. Therefore, when entering the consciousness space, you must pay attention to protecting your own body safety. The reason why Lin Ran wanted to open Sharingan at this time was because of his own plans. The news that he and Luo Qingyan had awakened S-level talents and above had definitely spread throughout Jianggu City. Now he is no longer a small person. There are quite a lot of interests involved in all parties. People who come to visit may not have good intentions. However, after spying on the visitor's energy veins, Lin Ran felt a little more relaxed. He had seen this thread before. It was Zhou Yi, the principal of the city's key number 1 high school. To Zhou Yi, that is a precious thing, and Zhou Yi should not be disadvantageous to him. In addition, he now has a BUG level thing called Kamui space in his hands. If Zhou Yi really has bad intentions and cannot be defeated by himself, can he still avoid it? Hide in the Kamui space, let alone Zhou Yi, who is a 4th level awakener. Even if a 10th level awakener comes, there is no way to deal with him. The two laws of space and time are so noble. Lin Ran closed the Sharingan and pretended that nothing was wrong. After opening the door, he suddenly showed a surprised smile. "Ah, it's Principal Zhou, why are you here?" Zhou Yi waved his hands repeatedly. "Oh, Shaoran, you're welcome. I'm not very old, just call me Uncle Zhou. The principal and so on are too outsider." Lin Ran immediately smiled politely and let Zhou Yi in. "Uncle Zhou, please come inside. My place is small and seems a bit shabby at this time." Zhou Yi also smiled and said, "As the saying goes, dragons lurk in the abyss. It is this kind of environment that has trained outstanding talents like you." After gently closing the door, Lin Ran and Zhou Yi sat down on the wooden chairs in the living room. Zhou Yi said impatiently, "In the past years, I always heard about geniuses coming out of other people's schools, but I was so envious of them. I didn't expect that today our Jianggu City number 1 senior high school would have you and Luo Qingyan, an absolute pair of twins. They really brought glory to our school. Just after the awakening ceremony ended, you both left in a hurry, and I didn't even have time to see you. As a last resort, I took the liberty to chase after him. Now take a closer look. Shaoran, you are really a born hero. With SS level talent, you can still maintain a normal mind, neither humble nor arrogant. I really didn't see the wrong person before. Zhou Yi was not bragging this time. On weekdays in school, he always praised Lin Ran, an inspirational model. He often takes good care of Lin Ran because of financial problems. This made Lin Ran's impression of him always very good. Having said this, Zhou Yi continued. Considering that the college entrance examination will be in 3 days, you and Luo Qingyan are both children from poor families. On behalf of myself and Zhonggu City No. 1 High School, I have prepared a small gift for each of you to help you prepare for the college entrance examination. These are some basic things, not precious. Shaoran, please don't refuse. With that said, Zhou Yi took out a small wooden box from his space ring and pushed it in front of Lin Ran. Lin Ran was stunned for a moment, but soon understood what Zhou Yi meant. He and Luo Qingyan, as awakeners with S-level talents and above, have unlimited futures. It is basically a sure thing to shine in the college entrance examination and enter Qingjing Yanyan University to achieve success. If you don't invest now, when the two of you become prosperous and want to invest, there will be no way for you. So Lin Ran did not refuse, but accepted it generously. Then I'll thank Uncle Joe and our school here. Now I am short of various resources, so Zhou Yi came quite timely. The two of them have a good relationship, so there is absolutely no need to reject him. On the contrary, it will embarrass both parties. In this dangerous world, being more diplomatic is the right answer. Seeing Lin Ran accept the wooden box, Zhou Yi also showed a happy smile, chatted with Lin Ran for a while, and then left. From his mouth, Lin Ran also learned that their female vice principal also went to Luo Qingyan at the same time. After Zhou Yi left, Lin Ran took the wooden box in his hand and opened it gently. The things inside the wooden box are simple to say the least, but each prop is quite extraordinary. The first thing that caught his eye were 5 bottles of bright blue intermediate gene enhancement liquid. This stuff is good stuff. After taking it in conjunction with training, it can accelerate the development and transformation of one's own talents. At the same time, it can also have the effect of strengthening the body and amplifying mental strength. Taking more often goes a long way. In addition, there is a biological intelligence chip. The value of this thing is even greater. In this future era, biological intelligence chips are basically indispensable for everyone, and their functions are very diverse and powerful. As long as you insert it into your head, you will have another prosthetic brain that can simultaneously activate functions such as call communication, intelligent analysis, cloud networking, and enhanced visual and auditory functions. But in contrast, its price is also extremely high. Even the most basic and common biological intelligence chip costs a full 1 million dragon coins. This is obviously a price that Lin Ran cannot accept under normal circumstances. At this time, the one sent by Zhou Yi obviously looked much higher end than those low-grade goods. A conservative estimate would put the price at least close to 3 million dragon coins. Are all 4th-level awakened people so rich, or is it because he is the principal? Lin Ran sighed as he inserted the BioSmart chip into his head. This thing dissolves immediately after entering the brain and is easy to take out. It is very easy to use. The next moment, his vision became much clearer. Moreover, various functions of the chip can also be used. Among them, there is a combat power measurement function. Lin Ran immediately conducted a test on himself. Beep. Combat strength, 500 points. I am an SS level talent owner, but my combat power at this time is only 500 points. Lin Ran is depressed. Although 500 points is definitely at the very high level among the newly awakened awakeners, Lin Ran is still a little dissatisfied. After all, I am blessed with the eternal Mangekyo. Thinking about it this way, this thing probably doesn't include eternal Mangekyo as part of the combat power. At the same time, the analysis of talent is not very good. Otherwise, I would definitely not have only 500 points. The internal abilities of the awakened are divided from low to high, ranging from 1 to 10 levels, and above the 10th level, there are also higher ones. If you want to improve your rank, you need to go to the relevant department to take the rank exam. The method used is the same as the college entrance examination, which is to download a copy. However, the promotion exam is a single-player copy. It will match you with some silly NPC puppet teammates, and their function is just that. It's hard to get your hopes up, but it's not too trashy anyway. Otherwise, it would be too unfair to the awakened ones who major in auxiliary talents and human shield talents. Generally speaking, every time the combat power exceeds 10,000, it is enough to pass the next level exam. The normal combat power of a first-level awakened person is between 1 and 10,000. The normal combat power of a second-level awakened person is between 10,000 minus 20,000. One step for every 10,000, and so on. However, rank is generally a relatively fictitious thing and may not necessarily be a reflection of real combat power. Even the Combat Effectiveness Index can only be used as a reference. After all, for many relatively rare and weird talents, it is really difficult to achieve accurate results by relying solely on biochip analysis. For example, Sharingan is not a product of this world at all, and the biochip cannot analyze it at all. For another example, a spiritual talent owner who may only have 1,000 combat power points in combat power analysis may not be able to kill an existence with 8,000 combat power points by relying on talent development and tactical execution. Or maybe a scumbag with a combat power of only 5 raises his hand and throws out a series of powerful one-time magic weapons, and it is very possible to instantly kill a person with a combat power of 10,000. A person's true strength is often linked to a series of things such as physical fitness, talent development, recovery speed, prop reserves, combat awareness, mastery of skills, etc. As for these things, biochips cannot analyze them in place and can only provide a rough reference. In some cases, the deviations are outrageous. Artificial intelligence is still flawed after all. So in many cases, everyone makes settings in the biochip to hide various information about their ID. Lin Ran is no exception. As soon as he got this thing, he blocked all his information. In the biochip, as long as you do not actively give up permissions, others cannot view your information. After the settings were completed, Lin Ran found that he had received an email in the biochip. It reminded that the balance of its bank card account had just been transferred to 1 million dragon coins, and the transfer person was Zhou Yi. This, my dear principal, is really willing to spend money. Lin Ran couldn't help but was speechless. Those 5 intermediate-level genetic modification fluids add up to more than 1 million points. A bio-intelligent chip costs at least 3 million. Finally, adding the cash of 1 million dragon coins, it was equivalent to Zhou Yi directly giving Lin Ran a full 5 million dragon coins. I think what I received when I came to Luo Qingyan's place was similar. In other words, Zhou Yi's investment in the two of them has already exceeded 10 million. And it is possible that Zhou Yi still feels that he is very profitable. Lin Ran took a deep breath and threw these messy thoughts out of his mind. These things have nothing to do with him at the moment. All he needs to worry about now is the college entrance examination. If you want to continue to receive preferential treatment from others and the tilt of resources, you must squeeze through this single plank bridge with thousands of troops. 3 days later, on June 8, it was the fateful moment. With SS-level natural spiritual body and eternal Mangekyo, it is only the minimum requirement for him to be admitted to Qingjing Yanyan University. The goal he pursues is to be among the top 3 in the country at the very least. As for whether the number 1 scholar or not, it all depends on fate. After all, there are not many outstanding people who emerge from the college entrance examination every year. Who knows if a pervert monster will emerge and surpass him to win the championship. Luo Qingyan's SSS-level Holy Angel talent alone was able to put a lot of pressure on him. At the very least, I can't say anything lower than her. Otherwise, if we meet at Qingjing Yanyan University in the future, wouldn't we feel inferior by 3 points? With Luo Qingyan's little devil-like character, she might even be ridiculed throughout her college career. That is really more uncomfortable than failing the college entrance examination. Thinking of this, Lin Ran waved his hand and put the 5 genetic modification fluids into the soul ring. Take the time to train hard from now on. At least these 5 genetic modification fluids must be fully absorbed first. 3 days later, June 8, 3077. All the students who decided to take the college entrance examination gathered on the playground again at Zhonggu City's No. 1 Key High School, quietly waiting for the arrival of the college entrance examination practice. But this time, the number of people was quite sparse. There were only about 2,000 people this time, which was much deserted compared to the previous awakening ceremony that had more than 10,000 people. Those who remain are those who have decent talents, have confidence in themselves, and are willing to continue their cultivation. After all, a large number of students have given up on further studies after learning about their talents. Instead, rely on the skills brought by your own talents to find a job that is enough to make a living. And many people whose awakened talents are no different from a blank slate, unless they have a mine at home, they can only be ordinary people for the rest of their lives. In many big families, even if the important members of their family have very rubbish talents, they can still rely on the accumulation of resources and specialized coaching to achieve a fairly good level of strength. Sometimes it can even achieve the effect of talent evolution. Of course, the effect of talent evolution will only be reflected on low-level talents. At most, you can upgrade your low-level talents to C level. Among them, those who are amazingly talented and beautiful can reach B level, which is the limit. Compared with those ordinary people, it is much better. Therefore, over the years, it has been very difficult for children from poor families to rise up. Only by awakening powerful talents and performing well in the college entrance examination can there be a chance. It's cruel, but also very realistic. This is why Lin Ran and Luo Qingyun caused such a sensation when they awakened their S-level talents. At this time, everyone on the playground was talking about it. The day has finally come. I hope today's college entrance examination copy will not be too difficult. Hey, if it's difficult for everyone, it will be difficult for everyone, but if it's easy, it will be easy for everyone. Instead of hoping for this, it is better to hope that this copy is more suitable for you. Who knows what tricks this year's national candidates will pull off? I can only say that fortunately our team has all the DPS, tanks, and wet nurses, so we can deal with any situation. I really envy you for being able to form a wet nurse. We only have T and DPS in this team. Just be content. It's good to have T. Many teams don't even have T. Quote. The so-called copy in their mouth refers to the space-time rift that opened a small opening in front of them. This is also a common name for man-made secrets. After the revival of spiritual energy and the alienation of Blue Star, the dangerous areas in this world are mainly divided into two different categories. They are secret areas and forbidden areas respectively. Secret realms are divided into man-made secret realms and natural secret realms. The secret realm is similar to the middle and lower dungeons in online games. You can clear the mobs, fight the boss, complete the tasks, and receive rewards. The man-made secret realm is compiled by humans themselves and is used for daily training or for cultivating future generations. The college entrance examination training is one of the artificial secret realms. Natural secret realms are secret realms naturally generated by Blue Star. They are generally much more dangerous than man-made secret realms, and the rewards are also much richer. As for the forbidden areas, they are non-human settlements on Blue Star. There are usually a large number of unknown ferocious beasts and alien races gathered inside, which is equivalent to the wild area of the big world in online games. Generally speaking, every secret realm and forbidden area will have a recommended entry combat power index formed by a biochip for reference. Its source is mainly through big data analysis of internal dangerous possibilities on the total information network. The purpose is to facilitate awakened people to quickly identify whether it is suitable for them. But sometimes it may not be accurate, or there may be a situation where the span is extremely large. For example, in a forbidden area, the recommended combat power is 10-50,000. Or maybe it's a natural secret realm marked with a recommended combat power of 20,000. In fact, there is a ferocious beast with a combat power of 30,000 points inside. Fluctuations occur from time to time. Only the artificial secret realms made by humans have relatively reasonable values. Zhou Yi was standing next to this space-time rift at this time, waiting for the college entrance examination time to come, and said to everyone. The time now is 8:20. When exactly 9 o'clock comes, the door to this man-made secret realm of college entrance examination training will open on time. Everyone can come in together when the time comes. When everyone is ready, the test of the secret realm will come. It should be noted that the degree of danger in college entrance examination training is always high. Please choose the difficulty level that suits you reasonably. Don't lose the entire college entrance examination just because you are greedy for scores. If you encounter a life or death crisis, don't show off and use the secret realm teleportation function to terminate the exam. If you don't get satisfactory scores this year, you can fight again next year, but if you lose your life, everything will be over. Zhou Yi's expression was quite serious. Because every year in the college entrance examination, there are students who die or become disabled because of their stubbornness, which leads to quite a lot of tragedies. After 3 years of studying theoretical classes in high school, the students present naturally knew these things, and they all nodded solemnly. Only Lin Ran's expression was quite relaxed. He has a natural spirit body that can turn himself into flesh countless times, so it is basically unlikely that he will encounter any fatal danger. The only thing to pay attention to is the speed and quality of clearance, which have a major impact on the final score. During these 3 days, Lin Ran rented one of the best training rooms in Jonggu City and frantically practiced his ice skills, various fighting skills and weapon mastery. At the same time, a batch of various equipment made of alloys were purchased, ready to be used to deal with various problems. Although this series of things cost Lin Ran 300,000 dragon coins, Lin Ran didn't feel any heartache. As long as the college entrance examination can be successful, everything else is just a cloud. With the help of Sharingan, Lin Ran can easily see through the flaws hidden in the details and find the most suitable way to exert power for various weapons. Therefore, Lin Ran's mastery of weapon proficiency has also improved rapidly. And with the help of genetic modification fluid, Lin Ran successfully evolved various attributes. The combat power also reached 800 points. There is a limit to the level of genetically modified fluid that the human body can accept within a certain period of time, and the specific amount depends on the realm. For example, for Lin Ran now, 5 medium-level genetic modification fluids can basically fill him up. It is estimated that within a month, he will no longer be able to absorb the genetically modified fluid. However, the growth effect it brings is quite rapid. Lin Ran could clearly feel at this time that his basic attributes such as speed, strength, and physique had increased a lot compared to when he first awakened. This feeling of growing stronger is quite wonderful. While Lin Ran continued to think about the college entrance examination and growth, a familiar figure came quietly with a fragrant breeze. "Hey, are you really not considering teaming up with me? You don't cherish the opportunity to enter Qingjing Yanyan University at all." Luo Qingyan crossed her arms and raised her head towards Lin Ran. Lin Ran smiled helplessly, spread his hands and said, "You haven't given up yet. I told you that I wanted to do it alone, but I still had to come and ask. Then, let me vaccinate you first. You must not worry about me and cause yourself to become upset. In the end, your performance in the college entrance examination will be abnormal. I will be very sad if I can't see you at Qingjing Yanyan University." Luo Qingyan's face darkened, and she waved her fist towards Lin Ran. "Who do you think you are? How could you make this girl upset? Narcissists are not as good as you, okay? What's more, I am a holy angel with SSS talent. How could I be so abnormal? If you insist on not teaming up with me, then I won't force you. Anyway, it's still some time before the college entrance examination starts. If you regret it, you can come to me at any time." After saying that, Luo Qingyan glared at Lin Ran fiercely, and then walked away with a sullen face. The interaction between the two people aroused another burst of envy and jealousy among the onlookers. Yes, if you spread dog food in public, you will be punished by heaven and earth. Everyone was sad and angry. If it weren't for the fact that these two people had one SS level talent and the other SSS level talent, they would have been sprayed to pieces. However, due to the terrifying repressive power of the two of them, they could only dare to be angry but dare not speak out, silently enjoying themselves in their hearts. Luo Qingyan looked around in the crowd, guessing the thugs Lin Ran might invite. The bullshit Lin Ran said that he wanted to do it alone was still thrown into the back of Luo Qingyan's mind. This guy always comes up with such outrageous reasons to kill himself. Every time Luo Qingyan thinks about it, her teeth itch with anger. It stands to reason that with Lin Ran's terrifying physicality, he can kill randomly with any DPS hand. Even if it is a tethered dog, the dog can see. The most suitable one among them is Ma Tang, who has awakened the A-level talent for firearms. One is close, the other is far, one is T and the other is C, they are suitable and perfect. Judging from the calm look on Ma Teng's face, it is obvious that he has found an extremely reliable teammate. This is most likely Lin Ran. Luo Qingyun felt relieved, walked back to her side, and began to wait quietly. The copies did not keep the students waiting too long. As the time reached 9 o'clock, the time and space cracks in front of them suddenly opened towards everyone. At the same time, information about this copy was also displayed on the cracks in time and space. Man-made secret realm. Zombie lair. Optional difficulty. 1 to 6. Number of people required. 1 to 5. Recommended level 1 difficulty combat power. 20 to 100. Recommended level 2 difficulty combat power. 100 to 300. Recommended level 3 difficulty combat power. 300 to 500. Recommended level 4 difficulty combat power. 500 to 800. Recommended level 5 difficulty combat power. 800 200. Recommended level 6 difficulty combat power. 1200 2000. Introduction to the dungeon. The dark jungle is full of various zombies and is full of dangers. Every time the difficulty level increases, the basic attributes of the zombies will increase, and the number of zombies will also increase. In addition, for level 2 difficulty and above, zombie attack speed and movement speed will be increased by an additional 50%. On level 3 difficulty and above, the vegetation in the dense forest will mutate to assist zombies in combat. On level 4 difficulty and above, some zombies gain the ability to attack remotely. Difficulty level 5 and above, the final boss Zombie King changes into the Frost Zombie King. Level 6 difficulty, the final boss Frost Zombie King has all attributes increased by an additional 100%, and gains a special passive effect, Frost Aura. Hiss. Countless students preparing for the exam took a breath of cold air. Is such a terrifying difficulty really designed for students? Today's questioner is too imbecile. On the highest difficulty level, the combat power has already reached 2000 points. Even Luo Qingcheng, who has the SSS Holy Angel talent, has absolutely no chance of reaching 2000 now, right? So, what is the significance of this 6th level difficulty setting? Just to disgust people, none of the people present looked very pretty. Then, a lively discussion began. Lao Lu, which book do you think we should brush better? We are barely able to reach the 4th level of difficulty. Zombies can attack from a distance. How about a hammer? Isn't the level 3 difficulty score a bit low? Just level 3, I don't want to repeat it for another year. That's right, I heard that for the sake of fairness in the college entrance examination, various debuffs will be imposed on repeat students, so few people will choose to repeat the exam. To be safe, let's go to level 3. As long as the 4 of us pass level 3, we will definitely be able to go to college. Someone has already gone in, and he is still alone. Luo Qingyan, she has an SSS level Holy Angel talent, so you can definitely master it alone. Another person went in. He was also alone. Why did Lin Ran get in by himself? Isn't he a human shield talent? Seeing Lin Ran walking into the space-time rift alone, not to mention the students present, even the tutor and principal Zhou Yi were dumbfounded, wondering what Lin Ran was up to. Moreover, Lin Ran's entry information shows that Lin Ran chose level 6 difficulty. Zhou Yi suddenly felt like he was in a coma. He really didn't know how Lin Ran was selected as a solo player. Based on his strength, as long as he matched it with a decent output, he would definitely kill indiscriminately. Now a pure T decides to farm alone, isn't he wasting his resources? Could it be that Lin Ran decided to rely on his own strength to kill the monster and push it hard? The college entrance examination copy is time limited, with a maximum of 2 hours from start to finish. Coupled with the fact that disposable props and magic weapons are prohibited in the college entrance examination, Zhou Yi really couldn't imagine how confident Lin Ran would be in passing the test. Thinking of this, Zhou Yi couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. If a promising young talent from Qingjing Yanyan University fails the exam due to his own mistakes, it would be strange if the Ministry of Education doesn't skin him. And now that Lin Ran has entered the dungeon, there is no way to get him out. The people watching were also in an uproar. The playground of Zhonggu City's No. 1 Key High School is a huge gymnasium. There are several circles of viewing seats around it for first and second grade students to watch the game and familiarize themselves with the college entrance examination copy in advance. As long as you are nearby, you can use your biochip to connect to the college entrance examination network and watch live broadcasts of specific scenes at any time. At the same time, on the dozens of large screens in the center, the handful of people who made the fastest progress will also be projected. Originally, these people from the number 1 Key High School in Jonggu City were prepared to appreciate the heroic appearance of Luo Qingcheng, who had the talent of SSS level Holy Angel. But when Lin Ran did this, he immediately grabbed a lot of attention. Of course, there are a lot of jokes in it. A kid who doesn't know what the world is after awakening his SS level talent is really arrogant. Doesn't he himself know that he is just a pure T? At that time, if an awakened person with SS level talent fails the list, he will really laugh out loud. However, judging from the current situation, Lin Ran was quite calm and composed after entering the secret realm, waiting for the exam to start with a calm expression. Soon, everyone else present also formed a team, selected the difficulty level, and entered the dungeon one by one. As the last person entered, the door to the space-time rift slowly closed. All candidates, please be prepared for the challenge. The college entrance examination practice will begin in 2 minutes. A prompt sounded in the secret realm. Lin Ran suddenly became energetic and turned his attention to the dense forest. Although the forest here is quite cold and dark, the ground is also full of bones, swamps, and thorns and flowers with poisonous thorns attached. But for him who has Sharingan, it is no problem at all. Eternal Mangekyo, on. Lin Ran's eyes narrowed, and a flash of blood immediately appeared in his eyes. In an instant, everything in this dense forest became so clearly visible. Lin Ran quickly analyzed how to pass these obstacles in the most efficient way. While taking out an alloy longbow from his hand, he quietly waited for the final exam time to arrive. Am I blinded? Why does Senior Lin Ran's eyes seem to have turned red? Could his talent be rage? What nonsense are you talking about? Is there anyone in Jonggu City who doesn't know about the news about Senior Lin Ran's awakening of SS level gifted natural spirit body? Then is this a special ability? I don't know, it looks weird anyway. It may also be a kind of invisible goggles. Don't think too much. Quote. Zhou Yi, who had been paying attention to Lin Ran, was also surprised. Being much higher level than those students, he immediately realized another possibility. Could it be bloodline ability? Zhou Yi's eyes were deep and thoughtful. 10.9.8.2.1. The college entrance examination practice has officially begun. As the last command was issued, several zombies emerged from the ground. Before anyone else could react to what happened, the arrow in Lin Ran's hand had already been shot. Swish, swish, swish. A series of extremely accurate arrows hit the heads, necks, chests, right shoulders and lower abdomens of the 5 zombies in front of them. The 5 zombies fell to the ground in response, and without much struggle, they had lost their ability to fight. Lin Ran did not choose these places randomly. He saw the biggest flaw in these rotten zombies from Sharingan and took action boldly. Moreover, he also attached the power of Kamui to these arrows, forming a spinning attack similar to bullets. But the trauma caused by its space distortion is still far more powerful than bullets. After shooting the arrow, Lin Ran didn't stop for a moment. He stepped lightly and turned into a smart black shadow, moving swiftly through the swamps and thorns. Those so-called alienated plants and swamps couldn't stop him at all. He stood out among thousands of flowers and passed by without a single leaf touching him. Everyone watching around was dumbfounded, even Zhou Yi, a well-informed 4th-level awakener, was no exception. Isn't magic weapon prohibited in the college entrance examination? How come Senior Lin Ran's arrows are so powerful? Yes. And the place was so dark, how did he see so clearly? And didn't you notice? The most outrageous thing is that Senior Lin Ran seemed to have predicted the location of the zombies coming out of the ground and aimed at the location in advance. It can't be that Senior Lin Ran is actually a marksman. It's almost like cheating. Everyone discussed it a lot, but never came to a definite answer. While others were still silently exploring the terrain and carefully determining the zombies' location, Lin Ran had already finished killing the zombies and walked away so quickly. Turning on X-ray is nothing more than that, right? When did SS-level natural spirits have this kind of pervert function? You know, even the SSS-level talent awakener, Luo Qingyan, who has the body of a holy angel, is still at the stage of killing zombies with a lightsaber. However, Lin Ran in the copy would not stop because of their exclamations, and soon reached the next stage. The number of zombies in this area has reached 8. And among them, there are also several blood-red hungry zombies, which can use long-range magic attacks. Faced with this big trouble, Lin Ran showed no intention of slowing down and continued to move rapidly. While running wildly, he picked up the bow in his hand. Whoosh whoosh. First, 3 arrows shot out in response, piercing the pupils of the hungry zombies. As a result, the hungry zombies will be unable to gather magic power smoothly. Later, Lin Ran put the bow back into the soul ring, took out a bladed alloy tang knife, gave it the power of Kamui, and chopped off the head of the zombie in front of him with one blow. The degree of decay of these zombies is much lower than before. It is difficult to rely on bows and arrows to kill them instantly, so Lin Ran can only use a knife. After decapitating his head, Lin Ran gently moved to the side to avoid the zombie's splattering blood, and immediately pounced on the next zombie. Soul Ring. Lin Ran also activated the life sacrifice effect of the Soul Ring at this time, replenishing himself with 25% of the magic power. As a slight tingling sensation spread from his fingers, his magic power reserve instantly returned to full strength. At the same time, the vitality consumed by the Soul Ring was quickly replenished by the natural spirit body. After a few dodgers, the remaining zombies were quickly beheaded by Lin Ran. Seeing that the door to the next area had been opened, Lin Ran ran towards the next area after tapping the Soul Ring again. Facing Lin Ran's ruthless and domineering offensive, the onlookers could only remain stunned. Ah, is there an error in the information? Senior Lin Ran's actual awakened talent is the SS-level Hell-Blooded Demon God. Why is he so pervert despite his defensive talent and attack power? There must be something wrong. The most important thing is that although his speed is not particularly fast, every step he takes is extremely precise. Yes, I just observed carefully. When Senior Lin Ran was killing zombies, he was still able to avoid the splattered blood. And when he avoided the blood, he didn't delay hunting the next zombie at all. Why is it that Senior Lin Ran can immediately formulate the most reasonable and time-saving tactics every time just by taking a glance at them? This is outrageous. Yeah, it's like a prophet who predicts the future. Precise and elegant, it makes me cry. Is this the strength of Senior Lin Ran? He is so handsome and chic. At this time, these first and second grade students, looking at the progress of others, can only be described as crying without tears. Most of the team had just exchanged fire with the first zombie in the first area, and were even frightened because they had faced such a supernatural creature for the first time. The one who was a little better was still immersed in the joy of just killing the first zombie, and was approaching the second zombie. Even Luo Qingyan, who was infused with the holy light and was killing everyone, had just finished dealing with the first area. Lin Ran was good, not to mention running all the way and killing so fast. He didn't look like an SS-level defensive talent at all. It feels like even an SSS-level offensive talent would be hard-pressed to achieve the effect he has. And don't forget, the difficulty chosen by Lin Ran is the highest level 6. The basic attributes of the zombies he faced were much stronger than those of low-difficulty zombies. In this situation, he can kill indiscriminately, which is really hard not to make people feel frightened. Lin Ran, who was in the secret realm, had now reached the third area. In the third area, there weren't too many zombies, only a big guy standing in the center. It's a giant zombie. People off the court quickly recognized him. As a highly dangerous zombie in the monster manual, everyone has quite a deep impression on it. This year's candidates are really pervert. I hope that by the time we are in that class, we won't be so pervert. Many people even bared their teeth and shared the same hatred with the candidates on the field. While I am glad that I am not taking the college entrance examination this year, I secretly wish the whole family of the candidates. It's only the third area, but such big trouble has already occurred. The horror behind the copy is simply unimaginable. Is the original design intention of this dungeon really for people to clear the level? Facing a big guy like this now, Senior Lin Ran shouldn't be able to make a quick decision. Yes, Senior Lin Ran should have relied on his extraordinary explosive power and physical fitness to attack the weaknesses of the zombies at the same time, so he could achieve an effect similar to an instant kill. In other words, Senior Lin Ran seems to be developing in the direction of an assassin. Why does it sound so weird for a person with SS-level defensive talents to play assassin? Oh, just don't worry about it. For a talented person like Senior Lin Ran, he can play whatever he wants, okay. It's just that now that Senior Lin Ran is facing such a thick-skinned giant zombie, I'm afraid he will be tortured for a while. Indeed, tanks and so on are too restrained against assassins. Everyone was whispering to each other and exchanging their opinions. Zhou Yi also watched Lin Ran's performance silently and kept thinking. Lin Ran's bloodline ability seems to be in existence that can increase explosive power and see through weaknesses. Thinking about the abilities that match it, it's probably the bloodline of a ghoul or a soul-splitting demon. It seems that Lin Ran is really a bit like a child of destiny. He is not a descendant of a big family, but he can actually awaken bloodline abilities. You know, in the absence of inheritance from ancestors, the chances of ordinary people accidentally awakening their bloodline abilities are smaller than winning the lottery jackpot. No wonder Lin Ran has the confidence to clear the dungeon alone. It turns out that he has his own offensive bloodline ability. However, this kind of bloodline ability that improves the burst will often fall into a short period of weakness after using the bloodline ability. Calculating the time now, it should be almost there. So, how do you face giant zombies in this state? Rely on the natural spirit body to resist, wait for the state to recover, and then carry out the second round of explosion. Zhou Yi could only think of so much for a while. Chapter 11. It seems that Lin Ran is really smart. And he could actually endure it until today before revealing the fact that he had bloodline abilities. Lin Ran, who possesses this kind of bloodline ability, coupled with the talent of one-on-one combat, is indeed very capable of fighting alone, and it is really possible to fight alone. If we just have to wait for the outbreak period, it may take a lot of time. It seems that we are currently leading a lot, but we will eventually be caught up by others. Because facing the terrifying fleshiness of the giant zombies, the time for one round of explosion may not be enough, and you have to wait for another round. But even so, as long as he can successfully pass the most difficult college entrance examination training copy, Lin Ran's final score should not be bad. Thinking of this, Zhou Yi's gloomy face finally looked better. Well, good, the misunderstanding is cleared. Since Lin Ran does have this strength, all problems will be solved. There is no need for me to be skinned and boned by the Ministry of Education for dereliction of duty. Etc. Why didn't he wait for recovery and just get on it? Under Zhou Yi's surprised gaze, Lin Ran rushed forward without waiting much after seeing the giant zombie. While rushing, he also jumped up high from the ground, holding knives in both hands and slashed at the face of the giant zombie. Before the giant zombie could react, Lin Ran's alloy tang knife had already struck his neck, leaving a deep mark. The giant zombie roared angrily, and he who was 5 meters tall swung the huge mallet in his hand and hit Lin Ran hard. But Lin Ran had already landed on his body at the moment he exerted his strength, and used it as a support surface to bounce twice and avoid the blow. And with the help of flying in the air, he once again scratched the giant zombie's right leg. When the giant zombie recovered from the swing of the hammer and launched another attack, Lin Ran dodged it early again. He also wielded the Tang Dao and continued to leave new scars on the giant zombie's body. As Lin Ran flew up and down, the giant zombie looked clumsy, with new scratches constantly being added to its body. The mallet that kept swinging in the air was always one step slower than Lin Ran. Although it seems to be close at hand, it is so far out of reach. Under this exquisite, accurate and artistic dance of death, the giant zombie has more and more scratches, its speed is getting slower and slower, and its blood is flowing harder and harder. However, in less than 3 minutes, his body was already overwhelmed and he fell to the ground with a plop. Lin Ran seized the opportunity, attached the last of Kamui's power to the Tang Dao, and inserted the knife into the back of its head, completely severing its life. Soul Ring. With another stinging finger, Lin Ran's nearly depleted magic power returned to 25%. Although Lin Ran never stopped using the Soul Ring during this process, after all, the consumption of Kamui that came with the sword was a bit high, and the mana consumption still barely kept up. But I finally got it. Lin Ran glanced at the giant zombie corpse on the ground and continued to rush towards the next area. The audience outside the venue didn't know what expressions to make after enjoying Lin Ran's wonderful performance. What kind of monster is this? Under his hands, the giant zombie with such strong oppression was treated like a fool, and Kakuzu didn't even touch his clothes. And he just cut the giant zombie to death with one cut after another. I really feel something is wrong. It's obviously an ordinary alloy weapon. Why is Senior Lin Ran's weapon so powerful? Yeah, I think other people's alloy weapons can't directly break through the defense when facing ordinary zombies. Could it be that his weapon is enchanted? But I haven't seen the unique light of an enchanted weapon appearing on that Tang Dao. How do I know where to go? Furthermore, Senior Lin Ran's judgment is really exaggerated. Under his response, the giant zombie's pants were seen through. With such an accurate prediction, we can only say that Senior Lin Ran's mental power is really high. Could it be that Senior Lin Ran attached his spiritual power to the Tang Dao to have such terrifying weapon power? Psychic power can still be attached to weapons. Is this possible? Who knows? Otherwise, how can we explain that Lin Ran, a senior with a sword, can severely injure a giant zombie? Quote. Zhou Yi took a deep breath and touched his bearded chin. From this point of view, Lin Ran's bloodline ability should not be that of a ghoul or a soul-splitting demon. This terrifying ability to predict is definitely inseparable from the mental system. Coupled with the special effect of strengthening weapons, I am afraid that it requires a very powerful bloodline ability to be possible. As for what it is, Zhou Yi has no clue at all. The capital of the Dragon Kingdom, Qingjing. In the small conference room of Yanyan University, there were 6 people sitting around a small round table. During the college entrance examination period, these leaders from Qingjing Yanyan University would gather together and use special projection methods to observe the good seedlings. Of course, their observation objects will only be concentrated among the top few hundred. The focus is on the top 10. Lin Ran, as the top one in the current progress, must be their key research object. Among the 6 people, a kind-faced, white-haired old man glanced at the middle-aged man next to him who was full of explosive muscles, and said, "What do you think?" The muscular man thought seriously and then shook his head. "I really don't know if there is any special bloodline ability that can see through and strengthen weapons at the same time." A handsome man with long flowing hair on the right side of the old man smiled and said, "I have some ideas and insights, but I still have to take a closer look. If he really has that kind of bloodline ability, we at Yanyan University will definitely not let this person go. His training potential may be greater than that of the little girl who is temporarily ranked second and has the talent of an SSS-level holy angel." The muscular man snorted coldly. "With his outstanding performance, even if it is not what you think, we will not give up." The long-haired man glanced at him angrily. "You came here specifically to watch the college entrance examination, just to find fault with me." "I meant that for emphasis, okay. Anyway, if this kid named Lin Ran comes, he will definitely get the score in my name. It just so happens that my department is missing an admiral, and it seems he is the right one." Hearing what the long-haired man said, the other 4 members except the old man all changed their expressions and yelled together, "It's a dream. It must be impossible. This guy Lin Ran must come to our department. Come to your department. Come to our department." Quote. Within the secret realm of the college entrance examination. In order to deal with the nearly 30 zombies that appeared in the 4th area, Lin Ran had already taken out his second Tang Dao. He walked nimbly among the zombies, waving his swords like flying leaves, constantly harvesting the lives of the zombies. No matter how much the zombies bit and scratched, or even used long-range magic attacks, they were unable to hit Lin Ran even slightly. Many times, people almost forget that Lin Ran is actually an awakened person with a human shield talent. However, because the previous room consumed a lot of magic power, Lin Ran adopted a slightly more conservative strategy. He slowly slaughtered all the zombies with ease, and used the soul ring to restore his magic value to full before moving to the next area. This copy of the college entrance exam training only has 6 areas in total. It's only been 10 minutes since the game started, and we've already reached the 5th area. Moreover, Lin Ran didn't look tired at all, but seemed to be getting more and more courageous as he fought. "Did Senior Lin Ran take a blood injection? How come you don't even know you're tired? I saw that in another team, the awakened person holding a large shield only used his shield to block more than a dozen zombie attacks, and he was already exhausted." "You're kidding. SS level natural spirit body, are you making trouble? Such a fast recovery rate of vitality can ensure that Senior Lin Ran is always full of energy. But even so, it takes time to recover, and it's impossible not to be tired all the time. And under such a high-intensity battle, won't his magic power be exhausted? Natural spirits don't provide magic recovery effects, right? It stands to reason that adding attack special effects that we don't know about to weapons all the time will definitely consume a lot of magic power. Who knows? Just ask. Just ask. Why are you asking so many questions that no one knows? Just watch it and it's over. Okay, such an artistic battle will probably never be seen again in the future. Quote. Before the onlookers could finish their comments, Lin Ran had already finished dealing with the zombies in the 4th area and resolutely entered the 5th area. As soon as they entered the 5th area, many people who paid attention to Lin Ran were stunned. All blanch it. Am I right? There are actually nearly 100 zombies in this 5th area. As the highest difficulty level so pervert. Can Senior Lin Ran still stay and hold? It's difficult. The attack density is much greater than before. Senior Lin Ran is only one person, and it is difficult for him to defeat 4 hands with 2 fists. Yes, at least it's impossible to crush them all the way like before. However, Senior Lin Ran already has a huge lead now. Even Senior Luo Qingyan, who has SSS level talent, has only reached the 3rd area. If you work slowly and steadily, your results will definitely be top-notch. Senior Lin Ran rushed up again. Under the surprised eyes of everyone, Lin Ran started to move forward at full speed again. In order to use the soul ring to restore magic power in the last area, Lin Ran slowed down a bit. Now after 4 or 5 life sacrifices, his magic power has returned to a strong state. If you don't rush now, when will you wait? The 2 tang knives with the power of Kamui are like chopping melons and vegetables, chopping up all the zombies that dare to block their sharpness. For a moment, flesh and blood flew everywhere and were shattered into pieces. Lin Ran, who was in a chaotic jungle, was like a cold and peerless god of murder. He only saw the efficiency of slaughtering the corpses and paid no attention to other things. Under his full efforts, the number of zombies is decreasing sharply. But Lin Ran, who was in the center of this flesh and blood storm vortex, remained motionless. The spectators were already a little numb to Lin Ran's exaggerated performance. Isn't this too strong? Why is he so invincible? I didn't expect that Senior Lin Ran, who has special means, has been dormant for so many years. He has such strong perseverance. And he killed these zombies too fast, right? My eyes can't see clearly. Hey, does anyone remember that this is a college entrance examination exercise? Why are everyone here to take the exam? Senior Lin Ran is rushing at this time, but he seems to be racing. While the students were talking, Lin Ran was already like a whirlwind, killing all the zombies. It can only be said that these zombies are indeed creatures with low IQ. Even though he knew that the swords possessed by Kamui's power were extremely powerful, he still tried to take the risk and did not even try to dodge. Maybe this is the final kindness of the college entrance examination question-answer. At the last moment of slaughtering these zombies, Lin Ran deliberately slowed down the pace slightly to allow the soul ring to restore mana to himself. According to incomplete statistics, in this copy, Lin Ran used the soul ring at least 20 times. It's almost equivalent to 5 more tubes of blue than others. Although his eye skills are indeed very expensive. The college entrance examination also has strict restrictions on restorative props. Everyone uses the slow recovery potion that is uniformly equipped. Although the recovery effect is still visible, it takes a long time. The mainstream teams that are currently progressing relatively quickly have almost finished clearing the 2nd area and are in the process of supplying and recovering. Even Luo Qingyan had just killed the giant zombie in the 3rd area and was taking blue medicine to recover and was preparing to step into the 4th area. And Lin Ran was already standing in front of the final boss. Senior Lin Ran is really fast. It's too fast, it's really too fast. You know, the further back the area is, the more difficult it is and the more time it takes. Even in this case, Senior Lin Ran can still be 2 to 3 areas ahead of others. Needless to say, this gold content is worth mentioning. Let me tell you another scary thing. Have you noticed that until now, Senior Lin Ran's SS level talent, Natural Spirit, has not even been triggered? That's right. Senior Lin Ran has a human shield talent, and he has never been beaten so far. This is really outrageous. Sometimes I really wonder if I have mistaken Senior Lin Ran's talent. Impossible. The Awakening Stone tablet has never been missed. So many people saw Senior Lin Ran's natural spiritual talent during the awakening ceremony. How could they be wrong? Then why is his damage so exaggerated? Isn't the natural spirit a pure defensive talent? Maybe. Senior Lin Ran has a special passive that can convert blood volume into attack power. Where does this passivity come from? Who knows? Quote. Adertisement. Because most of these first and second grade students don't know that there is such a thing as bloodline ability. So they can only make wild guesses about Lin Ran's strong performance. People with some core information channels, such as Zhou Yi and the senior officials of Qingjing Yanyan University, began to think about Lin Ran's possible blood talent. But how could they possibly imagine that Lin Ran's power system is something that does not belong to this world at all? In the secret realm, after Lin Ran took another sip of the Soul Ring's life sacrifice, he stepped into the gate of the 6th area. As the scene changed again, a brand new dense forest appeared in front of Lin Ran. This area is much simpler than the previous 2 areas. There is only an ice blue zombie standing quietly in the middle. The size of this zombie is also normal, not as huge as the giant zombie. But the sense of oppression it brings is far stronger than that of the giant zombie. As soon as he stepped into this area, Lin Ran felt a bone-chilling chill. And this chill is gradually deepening as time goes by. With the icy blue zombie in the middle as the center of the circle, a thin layer of green frost condensed on the surrounding forest trees. I feel like if I don't think of something right away, I will be frozen into ice before long. Is this the Frost Zombie King? After Lin Ran glanced around with the eternal Mangekyo, he found that its meat was quite plump, without any sense of decay. There is no way to hit its weak point and kill it with one blow like those zombies that are easily cut down. Since there is no weakness, then I will create a weakness. Lin Ran retracted his swords, took out his alloy longbow, and aimed at the heart of the Frost Zombie King. Whoosh! But what surprised Lin Ran was that the arrow with Kamui's power had just flown halfway when it was completely frozen by the frost halo of the Frost Zombie King, and fell to the ground helplessly. This arrow also completely alarmed the Frost Zombie King. He suddenly opened his dark eyes, turned into a blue lightning, and strode towards Lin Ran. The sudden move of the Frost Zombie King caused the audience to scream in surprise. Oh my god, it's so fast. The freezing effect of its frost halo is too pervert. Can it freeze arrows from such a distance? This year's question maker is really not a good person. It seems that when I take the college entrance examination next year, I will definitely not choose the difficulty level where the final boss will be upgraded. Senior Lin Ran is losing speed now and is probably going to be in a tough fight. Yes, if you get frozen later, you will be in even greater trouble. Quote. Lin Ran on the court also showed a serious expression. As expected of the final boss whose attributes have been enhanced by 100%, this guy's speed is a bit ridiculous, and his conventional weapons may not be able to keep up with it. In this case, we can only reveal some of our trump cards. Seeing that the Frost Zombie King was about to pounce in front of him, Lin Ran rolled to the side and focused his magic power on his left eye. Oh, at least with the blessing of the eternal Mangekyo, my eyes can still keep up. Amaterasu, the Frost Zombie King, who missed the attack, even let out a miserable scream before he could even react from the backswing of the attack. On its ice blue skin, a blazing black flame suddenly jumped out. The black flame spread rapidly on the Frost Zombie King's body, and in a short time, its body was completely covered. In the burning of black flames, the Frost Zombie King's vitality, magic power and physical strength are all flowing away crazily. Even his extremely powerful frost halo showed a tendency to collapse. Not to mention the onlookers and Zhou Yi, even the 6-person round table meeting at Yanyan University in Qingjing changed their expressions drastically. The muscular man was the first to slam the table and said in disbelief. Am I right? This kid can actually control black flames. How did he do it? Why have I never heard of this ability? A woman with long green hair also touched her round face curiously. The way the black flame erupted was also very strange. There was no contact between him and the zombie king. I neither condensed the black flames on my hands first, nor used other methods to activate them. To say that he can do it just by looking at his eyes, I don't believe it. Another woman with short black hair frowned. Besides, his black flame didn't make me feel any discomfort. The energy form of black flame is very pure, not evil or dirty. Normally, when I encounter something like this, I really want to purify it. It seems like his bloodline ability may far exceed our expectations. The masked man who had always remained silent couldn't help but said. Originally, I thought he would be involved in the arcane department. Now it seems that it is quite different. What a strange skill. No matter how much I think about it, I can't think of any bloodline in the bloodline illustration that is even close to his abilities. Even the white-bearded old man in the center couldn't help but his eyes flickered, and he kept shaking his head thoughtfully, not knowing what he was thinking. Seeing that everyone present had no clue, the long-haired man finally couldn't help but laughed proudly. I told you earlier that you people should study more, right? Everyone has the nerve to claim to be the dean of the department at the top university in Longguo, but they don't even know this. I think except for the boss, you guys have no clue at all. The muscular man's face darkened. If he was usually ridiculed like this by the long-haired man, his fist would definitely have appeared on the long-haired man's face at this time. But now because he was worried about Lin Ran's bloodline ability, he temporarily tolerated this hatred and said a few words from between his teeth. Then tell me, what is his bloodline? The long-haired man smiled slightly, flipped his hair on the right side of his head coolly, stretched and said. Isn't that obvious enough? Neutral camp, calm mind, superb prediction, black flames, terrifying weapon cutting power, plus the iconic black and red pupils. Besides the long-lost god-level bloodline, King of Eternal Night, is there any other possibility? You guys have been so distracted for so long that you have forgotten the disgusting person he was before. Let's just say I'm jumping to judgment here. If this boy named Lin Ran is not of the blood of King Yongye, I will perform a handstand spin to wash my hair in front of everyone. Strong enough, huh? Looking at the long-haired man who kept murmuring, the four people except the white-bearded old man all showed helpless expressions. He really pretended to do it. However, the bloodline of King Yongye has indeed been silent for too long. In history, it only happened once. And this time, it was thousands of years ago. The man with the bloodline of King Eternal Night is a notorious mercenary. Don't care about anything, just money. Whoever gives more money is the master. As for betrayal and falling out, it is even more common. That is to say, because of his powerful strength, disgusting abilities, and elusiveness, he has never been liquidated. Later, because he offended too many people, coupled with his own greed, he was finally trapped and killed at the bottom of the sea. Even so, before he died, he took away a group of people to be buried with him, which can be said to be quite powerful. Hearing what the long-haired man said, the white-bearded old man smiled and touched his beard. Then, he took out a Lin Ran student file from nowhere, first filled in the name, Qingjing Yanyan University, in the university column, and then wrote, Yongye, in the bloodline ability column, King. Finally, he took out a file bag marked top secret and stuffed the file into it. Seeing this, the long-haired man couldn't help but spread his hands. Boss, they haven't agreed to come to our place yet. Although Qingjing Yanyan is indeed the top university in China, it is not completely without competitors. In case someone goes somewhere else, this file. The white-bearded old man laughed. That's what you department heads need to consider. Anyway, I have already written the file. If someone doesn't get it, I will deduct 5 years of performance from each of you. Well, plus canceling all vacations. Yes, that's it. The other 5 people all looked bitter. Boss. The white-bearded old man waved his hand and said, I have made up my mind, you don't need to say anything. Now that he will become the top pick in the college entrance examination, it is basically a certainty. If I were you, I wouldn't continue to waste my time and life here, watching the meaningless fights of those people behind me. By this time, you should be almost on your way, right? Seeing the white-bearded old man smiling, the 5 of them realized that their boss didn't seem to be joking. They stood up in a hurry and ran towards the door. In the secret realm, the Frost Zombie King had been chasing Lin Ran for about 2 minutes with Amaterasu burning on his body. At first, with its terrifying speed, it was able to force Lin Ran into a bit of a panic. But as time went by and Amaterasu burned, the Frost Zombie King became slower and slower, his vitality became less and less, his magic power became weaker and weaker, and he even became a little dying. For existences like zombies with relatively weak mental power, Amaterasu's effect is still very obvious. Realizing that the Frost Zombie King was almost unable to run, Lin Ran smiled, pulled out the Tang Dao with his backhand, and applied the power of Kamui to it. First, he chopped off the Frost Zombie King's head with one knife, and then pierced the Frost Zombie King's heart with another knife. The Frost Zombie King, who had been hit hard, finally couldn't stand anymore and fell to the ground slumped, being burned to ashes by Amaterasu. Subsequently, the prompt sound of the secret realm also sounded at the right time. Ding! Congratulations to Lin Ran, a candidate from Jonggu City No. 1 Senior High School, for successfully passing the college entrance examination. Enter the ratings below. Difficulty of clearance, Level 6. Clearance time, 17 minutes and 42 seconds. Order of clearance, 1. City ranking, 1. Provincial ranking, 1. National ranking. Your college entrance examination scores have been entered into the database. The final evaluation score is 750 points. The record of the shortest time to pass the college entrance examination has been refreshed. The last record was 30 minutes and 28 seconds. Exclusive achievement rewards for customs clearance have been distributed, please check in the email. After 1 minute, you will be automatically transferred to the copy, please wait patiently. Ranked first in the city. Ranked first in the province. Ranked number 1 in the country. Plus an absolute perfect score of 750. The most explosive news was what Lin Ran caught first. Doesn't that mean that he became the top scorer in the college entrance examination? Moreover, he was the number 1 pick who broke the record for the shortest time. Lin Ran became excited immediately. Good, very good, very good. In this way, not only will he be able to obtain the best cultivation resources, but everything in the future will no longer be a problem. With the physicality of a natural spirit body and the protection of Kamui space. The world is so big, so much can be achieved. Nothing can stop my rapid growth. Now that the time has come, it's time to go out and see the outside air. Aha! With a flash of white light, Lin Ran's figure suddenly appeared in the center of the playground. Wow! What greeted him was the cheers of the junior students and the warm embrace of Zhou Yi. Good, very good, excellent. Zhou Yi was so excited that he almost burst into tears. The number 1 high school in a small place like Jonggu City can actually produce the number 1 scholar. And he's still the top pick in the country. He was even the top pick in the country with perfect scores and a record-breaking record. His own rapid rise, the school's bright future, and even Jonggu City's takeoff were all basically foreseeable. Lin Ran, who was hugged by an old man and robbed of his lines, couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. He quickly got out without leaving any trace and said with a smile. Uncle Joe, don't be excited, don't be excited. It's just a small thing, it's just a small thing. Zhou Yi also realized that he had lost his composure, so he coughed twice to cover it up, and then said. Well done Shaoran, you lived up to our expectations. You have won glory for our No. 1 high school in Jonggu City. Now that your grades are so excellent, I'm afraid it won't be long before major universities will come looking for you. No matter where you end up choosing to go, we will ultimately respect your opinion. Now the Education Bureau is already working on receiving teachers from colleges and universities. They should find you in 2 days at most. Shaoran, you must think carefully about this important life event. Ask me any questions about admissions, and I promise to answer them all. Lin Ran smiled. No problem. Thank you Uncle Joe for your concern. Then we can just have a chat here. I do have a lot of questions to ask. Besides, I still have someone to wait for. As he said that, Lin Ran glanced at the space-time rift next to him and saw Luo Qingyan's name in the column of entrance. Zhou Yi suddenly understood and laughed. Okay, let me first tell you about the advantages of major universities. Ding! Congratulations to Luo Qingyan, a candidate from Jonggu City No. 1 Senior High School, for successfully passing the college entrance examination. Enter the ratings below. Difficulty of clearance, Level 6. Clearance time, 29 minutes and 53 seconds. Order of clearance. 2. City ranking. 2. Provincial ranking. 2. National ranking. Your college entrance examination scores have been entered into the database. The final evaluation score is 743 points. The record of the shortest time to pass the college entrance examination has not been refreshed. The current record is 17 minutes and 42 seconds. Your score is the second in history. Exclusive achievement rewards for customs clearance have been distributed, please check in the email. After 1 minute, you will be automatically transferred to the copy, please wait patiently. Luo Qingyan, who was holding a lightsaber, covered in holy light, and with golden wings on her back, finally hacked to death the Frost Zombie King, but her wrists were a little weak. I have to say that Luo Qingyan's luck is really good. This time, the monsters in the college entrance examination copy are all zombies, which are dark creatures. They are naturally restrained by Luo Qingyan's power of holy light, which can greatly increase the power of skills hitting them. Coupled with the talent of Holy Angel, the battery life is very strong, so he fought all the way. Even if it weren't for the monster Lin Ran, she would have broken the record. Seeing the series of 2s above her ranking, Luo Qingyan couldn't help but feel a little dazed. What's going on? If someone stronger than her appeared in the country, it would not be unacceptable. But looking at this ranking, this person is obviously in their Jianggu city. But the problem is that in the entire Jianggu city, except for her and Lin Ran, the other highest awakened talents are just A. Lin Ran, a person with defensive talents, will not consider it for now. How could an A-level talent awakener clear the level faster than she could by restraining the monsters in the copy? Luo Qingyan didn't understand. And what made her feel even more outrageous was that before the college entrance examination, she also looked up relevant information. If I remember correctly, the previous clearance time for the highest difficulty dungeon was obviously 30 minutes later. Why is it inexplicable now that it was refreshed to 17 minutes? Is this speed too fast? No one knows the difficulty of this dungeon better than Luo Qingyan, who relied on the holy light sword and punishment spells to cut through it. Is it possible that someone can cheat in the college entrance examination? Luo Qingyan rubbed her sore wrist depressedly, feeling slightly unhappy. No matter what she thought, she couldn't understand it at all, so she could only print out a copy first and then read it. Aha! Another white light flashed, and Luo Qingyan's figure also appeared on the playground. The cheers that greeted her were no smaller than Lin Ran's before. As for Lin Ran, he was also standing at the exit, looking at her with a smile. Yes, not bad, classmate Luo did not disappoint. And he's so obedient, so well behaved. I asked you to get second place in the exam before, and you actually did it. The talent of Holy Angel is really beautiful and capable of fighting. Luo Qingyan never expected to see Lin Ran outside, and for a moment she even forgot to reply. Why are you outside? At this point in time, shouldn't you be still struggling in the dungeon? Could it be that? Luo Qingyan suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility, couldn't help but turned pale, and stammered. Could you be that, the whole country? Lin Ran laughed, raised the corners of his mouth, and spread his hands towards Luo Qingyan with great satisfaction. That's right, the person standing in front of you now is the top scorer in this year's National College Entrance Examination. With SS level pure defensive talent, surpassing the SSS level hexagonal Holy Angel. From being considered impossible to clear the dungeon alone, to conquering everyone with stunning performance. Not even a single point was deducted, and I got a perfect score of 750. It's 12 minutes and 11 seconds faster than you, 7 points and 1 place higher. Classmate Lin Ran, how are you? Are you scared by me? Every time Lin Ran said a word, the look of surprise on Luo Qingyan's face grew bigger. When Lin Ran finished everything, Luo Qingyan almost stared out of her eyes and said in disbelief. How is this possible? Lin Ran continued to chuckle. What's impossible? Aren't the facts right in your face right now? Only then did Luo Qingyan react. As the second best person in the country, after releasing the dungeon, there seems to be only one possibility that she can see the people waiting outside. Pure defensive talents and clear the dungeon alone. He also raced to get a first place. Luo Qingyan fell into a trance again. She really couldn't think of how Lin Ran did it. Seeing her silly and cute look, Lin Ran couldn't help but knock her on the head. After saying goodbye to Zhou Yi, he took her hand and walked out of the playground. Okay, don't stand here in a daze. Although the college entrance examination is over, we still have a lot to do. For example, think about which college to go to. At this time, Luo Qingyan finally accepted Lin Ran's outrageous setting of winning first place in a single brush, shook her head and said. And you? Lin Ran thought for a while and said. The first choice must be Qingjing Yanyan University, which is ranked top 1 in the country. After all, its number 1 title is not false, and its resources and teachers should be better. But the specifics still depend on their conditions. The gap between the top 10 universities is not very big. If other universities offer more generous benefits, it is not impossible to go to them. We are the top pick plus the second pick, so we definitely still have the right to choose. Luo Qingyan nodded thoughtfully. That's it. Then I've thought about it anyway. Wherever you go, I'll go. At this time, the two of them had arrived at the school gate. After hearing what Luo Qingyan said, Lin Ran tilted his head and looked at her. So willful. Luo Qingyan snorted coldly. Why, do you want me to stay far away from you? If that's the case, I'll just choose the university that's farthest from you in a straight line. Lin Ran rolled his eyes. That's not what I meant. By the way, you should have received gifts from the school before the college entrance examination. There's a bio-smart chip inside, right? Luo Qingyan nodded. There are also 1 million dragon coins and 5 intermediate genetic modification fluids. The two people's things are exactly the same. Lin Ran then turned his attention to his biological intelligence chip. Here, give me your ID and let's add you as a friend. By the way, let me send you some more information related to colleges and cultivation that I just received from Principal Zhou Yi. Jianggu City is just a fairly ordinary city in Yinshan Province of Dragon Kingdom. Within the entire Dragon Kingdom, Yinshan Province's college entrance examination results over the years have not been outstanding, let alone Jianggu City. There are no wealthy families in the entire Jianggu City, and it can be said that there is not a single student who can be named a genius within 100 years. But now, just one of the top high schools in Jianggu City has produced 2 young women who won the first place. The sensationalism of this news was really explosive. For a time, the Longguo internet was full of reports about the two of them. Especially Lin Ran, the ultimate dark horse who finally won the championship with his pure SS-level defensive talent. Shocked, the talent of the top candidate in the college entrance examination is actually the defense department. You have to read about the top 10 secret methods for the number 1 pick to win the championship. Why is the defense talent able to rise? It turns out it's because of it. Why is bloodline so powerful? The number 1 scholar will speak out for you. The twin prides of the peerless world, the twin jewels of the empire, the future pillars of the Dragon Kingdom have appeared. The beautiful school beauty has awakened the SSS-level talent of the Holy Angel, and she is second to none. Between the top scorer and the second scorer in the college entrance examination, we have to talk about the past secrets. Quote. One eye-catching headline-grabbing article swept across the entire internet in a very short period of time. Originally, Longguo's annual college entrance examination was a major event that attracted much attention from the public. Although many people have been away from school for decades, they still talk about the ever-present topic of college entrance examination. In addition, the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick came together in a small city that was originally unknown to everyone. They even looked good-looking, and there were always vague scandals spreading. Lin Ran is only an SS-level defensive talent. It seems that he relied on his mysterious bloodline ability to complete the level. It is simply providing the media with an excellent explosive point. As soon as these messages were sent out, discussions about the two people immediately occupied half of the entire internet. Holy shit, he can actually control black flames. This is so cool. It fulfills all my childhood fantasies about being a second grader. And do you feel that his bloodline also has the ability to strengthen weapon attacks? It's a must. I think other people's alloy long knives are almost cut with curling blades before they can barely kill the giant zombies. He's good. He killed the giant zombie with just a few swipes. I don't believe you when you say he doesn't have enhanced weapons. Luo Qingyan is so beautiful. She has a good figure and is an SSS-level gifted holy angel. When she fights, she is surrounded by holy light. She is a perfect template for the national goddess. It's a pity that the famous lady already has an owner. Do you want to compete with Lin Ran, the top pick? Haha, brother, you want me to die. In particular, the replay of Lin Ran's copy of the college entrance examination has gone viral on various video websites, each of which has exceeded 10 million views. Not to mention those high-energy editing, commentary and analysis. I don't know how many up owners and video authors have been supported. In the midst of this extreme carnival, the other top 100 people in the country, who had previously been able to attract a lot of attention, were suddenly embarrassed. The twin stars Lin Ran and Luo Qingyun were so dazzling that they almost covered up their light. After all, these two people are not only counter-attacking from a humble family, but also creating history and miracles. In addition, the man is handsome and the woman is beautiful, and the relationship is somewhat ambiguous. Among them, there are so many points that can be marketed that they are almost endless. Just after Lin Ran finished the dungeon, he waited for Luo Qingyun to go out, then held her hand and left talking and laughing. If you put it to the media and various article authors, at least hundreds of thousands of short stories can be made up. People must be driven by profit, and if you have money, you won't be a fool. Just Lin Ran and Luo Qingyun have already reported that 3 days and 3 nights are not over yet, who will focus on the green leaves next to them. Therefore, these people who were overshadowed by Lin Ran and Luo Qingyun naturally held grudges against them. Especially Lin Ran, the monster who directly pushed the record forward significantly. Countless people are gearing up, gnashing their teeth and staring at Lin Ran, who has been enjoying great glory for a while, waiting for an opportunity to knock him down from the altar. But these have nothing to do with Lin Ran. At this time, he has declined all visits from the media and is looking at the college entrance examination reward email in his mailbox. This thing is sent directly from the Ministry of Education. It is a reward exclusively for the number 1 scholar. It is extremely generous. A black gold card containing 50 million dragon coins, 35 high-grade genetic modification fluids, 3 gold-level magic equipment exchange coupons, 5 gold-level heavenly material and earthly treasure exchange coupons, and 100 gold-level one-time use coupons. Vouchers for magic props. Needless to say, there is no need to talk about dragon coins. Money is not too much for anyone. Genetic modification fluid is also an indispensable thing on the road to cultivation. Without its assistance, the speed of cultivation will be greatly reduced. What's more, this is a high-grade genetic modification fluid, which makes it even more precious. As for magic equipment, it is also a major means of improving combat effectiveness. Compared with ordinary metal equipment with no special effects, magic equipment can generally greatly improve certain attributes and effects. However, each person can only wear up to 7 magic equipment that can play a role at the same time without conflict. The soul ring that Lin Ran fished before belongs to the category of special equipment and is not among these 7. Heavenly materials and earthly treasures are special consumables that can permanently benefit the user after being used. Either increase fixed attributes, or improve talent effects. Generally speaking, it is also a rare treasure. The levels of magic equipment, heavenly materials and earthly treasures, etc., are divided into 9 levels from low to high: black iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, epic, legend, and myth. The higher the level, the rarer and more powerful it is. However, some equipment or treasures that are too high in level cannot even be used if you are not physically strong or mentally strong enough. So this is also the reason why the rewards for the college entrance examination can only reach the gold level at most. The one-time props at the end are easier to understand. Medicines that instantly restore life and magic power, magic scrolls that can release one-time skills, enhancers that temporarily bring buffs, and even time-limited dolls that assist in combat all fall into this category. With 100 exchange coupons in hand, it should be enough for Lin Ran to spend a long time. Since his reward is so generous, Luo Qingyun, who is second in the rankings, must not be inferior. At most, it will only be a little less than him. Just when Lin Ran finished counting the rewards and was about to use the biochip to visit the redemption store, a call request suddenly came from the biochip. Lin Ran took a closer look and saw that the caller was Zhou Yi, so he transferred the call directly. Xiao Ran, the teachers in charge of admissions from various colleges and universities have arrived, and our people who are going to pick you up have arrived downstairs. You can just get in the car, Zhou said with a smile. Lin Ran was a little surprised. So fast. They are so efficient. It's only been a day and already everyone is here. Zhou laughed. That's natural. You are now the most popular person in the entire Dragon Kingdom, and you are also the heartthrob of major universities. If you are released to domestic competitors, it will definitely be unacceptable to them. The quicker I do it, the more I can show that I value you. Lin Ran nodded. Is that so? Okay, I'll be there soon. Lin Ran ran downstairs and soon saw the extended magic energy-driven car downstairs, and Luo Qingyan, who was sitting in the back seat, smiling and waving to Lin Ran. After a brief exchange with the driver and bodyguard, Lin Ran got directly into the back seat. Luo Qingyan hummed and smiled. What, have you decided where to go? Anyway, I'm going to follow you. Lin Ran rolled his eyes. Didn't I tell you to listen to their conditions first? You're in a hurry. Luo Qingyan punched Lin Ran's shoulder angrily. Then there must be a first goal. What if their conditions are similar? You can't just sit there and think about it, right? Lin Ran thought for a while and said. Then it should be Qingjing Yanyan University. After all, it ranks first and has its own heritage. Compared with other universities, it is still somewhat inferior. And I also heard that the department heads of their 5 major departments are quite powerful and have their own characteristics. I really want to see them. Luo Qingyan nodded and said. Sure enough, it's pretty much what I thought. And I also heard that the food in Qingjing is quite good, which I like very much. Lin Ran is depressed. How long has it been and this guy still wants to eat? Sure enough, sometimes the ideological gap between people is wider than that between people and dogs. Soon, the two took a special car and returned to Jianggu City No. 1 High School. Zhou, standing at the door, had obviously been waiting for a long time. Uncle Joe came to pick him up in person. It's so polite. After getting off the car, Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan walked in the direction of Zhou. Zhou smiled bitterly. It's not that you're being polite. The main problem is that the conference room is now tense, and the temperature has dropped by an unknown number of degrees due to the group of admissions teachers. I was in there, and it was really nerve-wracking. I'll come out to pick you up until I can still breathe. Lin Ran was slightly startled. So exaggerated. Zhou sighed. Nothing worse than that. When we arrive at the scene later, Shaoran, you and Qingyan will know. Not long after, Zhou brought Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan to the door of the conference room. Wow, Zhou opened the door first, and then quickly let the two of them in. In an instant, dozens of eyes were locked on Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan. As for Zhou, who was still a figure in Jianggu City, he was pitifully ignored. It is very hard to be watched by so many strong men and bear the suppression of their aura. Even though they had deliberately restrained their auras, the pressure still made the two of them a little unsteady. Lin Ran is much better protected by a natural spirit body, and he still looks as normal. But Luo Qingyan's holy angel does not have such strong resistance. Sensing that something was wrong with Luo Qingyan's expression, Lin Ran grabbed Luo Qingyan's hand with his backhand. Immediately, vast life force poured out of Lin Ran and penetrated into Luo Qingyan's body. Luo Qingyan finally regained some of her composure, and her expression returned to calmness. The little moves of the two did not escape the eyes of these teachers. Dozens of teachers all nodded secretly in their hearts. Sure enough, just as the legend outside said, the relationship between the two is extraordinary. This means that if they can recruit one of them, the other person will most likely come together. They will also be able to bring the top 2 talents, the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick, into their ranks. For the colleges and universities present, this is really quite heavy news. Because in the past many years, this kind of thing has not happened for a long time. There is a saying that one would rather be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. Generally speaking, the top 10 students in the college entrance examination will go to the top 10 universities. Otherwise, no one will feel comfortable if there is someone who suppresses you among your peers. What's more, among the top 10 universities, the gap is not particularly large. Even the top 1 Qingjing Yanyan University, which has a relatively transcendent status, is not said to be able to crush other universities. Since these two people are basically in a take it and take away situation, they really have to spend a lot of money. This is especially true for the 5 department heads from Qingjing Yanyan University who were sent by the white-bearded old man. After all, they came with a mission. Lin Ran's body was tied to their bonuses and vacations. Hello teachers, my name is Lin Ran. Hello teachers, my name is Luo Qingyan. Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan greeted them first. 3 teachers from Qilu University nearest to them laughed first. Yes, yes, you two are the future proud sons of heaven and the pillars of the country. I won't say any more unnecessary words. Let's get straight to the point. If you are willing to come to our Qilu University, we can provide each of you with at least 3 gold-level treasures of heaven, materials and earth every year. Plus 3 gold-level magic equipment, as well as a large amount of genetic modification fluid and consumables. If your strength improves quickly, we can also provide platinum level. As for dragon coins and scattered props, you can choose from them. And everything I said above is something extra. What would have been yours, and there are many more. The teachers at Qilu University were not ready to test the situation, and immediately opened the previous top-scoring conditions. Before Lin Ran could start thinking, a teacher from Yuzhou University also spoke. On the basis of Qilu University, we will add a piece of gold-level magic equipment. The other teachers also stopped pretending. I will add another gold-level treasure from Westlake University. I will add 2 more gold-level treasures of heaven and earth from Modu University. We, Shangchu University, provide 5 pieces of each kind of natural, earthly treasures and magical equipment every year. Quote. With the teachers firing on all cylinders, the entire conference room immediately turned into a noisy market. Everyone was arguing with red faces, and no one was willing to step back even half an inch. Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan couldn't help but look at each other. The two of them had never seen such a scene before, and for a moment they didn't know what to do. But Lin Ran keenly noticed that there were 5 people who did not participate in this fierce battle for people. A man with long flowing hair, a man with strong muscles, a man wearing a visor, a woman with long green hair and a woman with short black hair. The 5 people had a cold temperament, crossed their arms and exchanged glances with each other, which was incompatible with the atmosphere of the entire conference room. What are the origins of these 5 people? Lin Ran glanced at them curiously. After noticing Lin Ran's gaze, the 5 people all showed a kind smile. Then, the long-haired man in the middle coughed twice. Hearing his voice, the teachers next to them gradually restrained their voices and turned their attention to the 5 of them. These 5 people are naturally the 5 department heads of Qingjing Yanyan University. To be honest, even these teachers from other universities saw this situation at Qingjing Yanyan University for the first time. Normally, even if it recruits the number 1 scholar, a university like Qingjing Yanyan University will only have 1 department head. After all, the top few scores are usually divided evenly among the top 10 universities, so there is no need to look so ugly. But today's situation, seeing that the sound gradually subsided, the long-haired man was very proud. He jumped up from the chair and walked to the middle of the conference room. He said proudly, "Well, how should I put it? These 2 people are going to be admitted to Qingjing Yanyan University. The rest of you can go back. Let's talk about our conditions. No matter how many gold-level magic equipment and gold-level heavenly materials and earthly treasures you give us, we will always have 1 more than you. Let's add 10 portions of each item first. If you are not convinced, you can continue to scream. In addition, we will release an additional platinum-level magic equipment and a platinum-level heavenly material and earthly treasure every year. How about it? Does anyone else want to bid?" As soon as these words came out, the faces of the other 9 universities present changed. This is crazy. Are the department chairs at Qingjing Yanyan University crazy? Their price increase just now has been added to gold-level magic equipment and heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and each item is almost 7 times as much. Now it was directly increased to 10 copies of each item by people from Yanyan University. Over the years, the terms signed by each number 1 pick have been 4 to 5. Now they have doubled the quantity and added an additional platinum level. Even based on a relatively general estimate, the value of a piece of platinum level magic equipment or heavenly material and earthly treasure is basically 5 times that of gold level. In addition, this is not just Lin Ran, there is also Luo Qingyan next to him. Their losses will double again. Such a wealthy and domineering person. I don't want to be taken advantage of, right? However, the long-haired man did not look distressed at all and looked at the teachers from other universities with a playful smile. It wasn't his own money anyway, and the white-bearded old man's order was just to take Lin Ran back. So naturally they can unscrupulously offer such sky-high terms. Teachers from other universities are generally limited by their principals to the maximum quota, and it is impossible for them to continue to fight for it. Sure enough, it was just as the long-haired man thought. As soon as he said these words, the teachers from the remaining 9 universities could only shake their heads and lamented that everyone at Yanyan University was crazy. Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan are indeed top-notch talents, but they are not so broke. After all, not every good seedling can grow into a towering tree. In history, it is not unheard of for geniuses who were vigorously cultivated by universities to perish in secret realms and forbidden areas ahead of time. Or someone with a tyrannical talent ends up losing sight of everyone, or he goes astray. If something happened to these 2 people, wouldn't Qingjing Yanyan University suffer a huge loss? Congratulations to Yanyan University for harvesting 2 geniuses. We'll say goodbye. The teachers present said goodbye to the 5 department heads of Yanyan University one by one, and also said hello to Lin Ran and Luo Qingcheng before walking out of the conference room. Although Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan did not go to them in the end, if they become successful in the future, they can at least leave a good impression on others, right? These people are still willing to make this kind of costless investment. Seeing the rest of the crowd leaving one after another, and there were only 7 of them left in the room, the long-haired man laughed loudly, walked up to Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan and said, "Brother Lin Ran, Miss Qingyan, welcome to join our Qingjing Yanyan University. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Lu Chufeng, the head of the Qilin department of Yanyan University." The muscular man also nodded. Xu Lei, head of the Xuanwu department of Yanyan University. The masked man stepped forward. Gao Xian, head of the Zouk department of Yanyan University. The green-haired woman smiled and said, "Lin Miao, head of the Qinglong department of Yanyan University." The woman with short black hair still said sternly, "Ling Shanqing, head of the White Tiger department of Yanyan University." Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan also hugged their fists. "Hello, directors." Lu Chufeng waved his hand. "Okay, let's keep everything simple. We'll talk about the specific things after we enter school." With that said, Lu Chufeng took out 2 black gold cards from the space storage and handed them to the 2 of them, and continued. 10 million dragon coins per person is considered as our university's basic travel expenses to support you. Come to Qingjing within 10 days and register at Yanyan University first. Those of you special recruits who were recruited by us in advance need to go earlier. I hope you 2 don't mind. We will discuss it in detail when the time comes. By the way, little brother Lin Ran, when you choose another series, you must choose our Qilin series. Xu Lei raised his eyebrows. The SS-level defensive talents are for your Qilin type. You surnamed Lu, you didn't drink too much, did you? Lin Ran and our Xuanwu department are definitely a match made in heaven. Ling sneered sadly. Have you ever seen Lin Ran's performance in the college entrance examination copy? Such a ferocious attack and killing method is obviously suitable for our White Tiger family. The masked man walked over slowly. If I guess correctly, the black flames used by Lin Ran in the college entrance examination copy should be activated by mental power. As his main output method, black flame must be chosen by our Suzaku family. Lin Ran was a little dumbfounded when he saw the 4 people arguing again. Well, they have just sent away people from other schools, and they have started a new round of robbing people within themselves. Why is he, the top pick, so popular? Lin Miao, the only one who didn't get involved, smiled, walked up and patted Luo Qingyan on the shoulder and said, "No matter which department that guy Lin Ran goes to, Sister Qingyan must come to us. After all, there is probably no one in the world who knows your talent better than me, sister." Luo Qingyan was slightly startled. "Sister, you too." Lin Miao smiled slightly and immediately expanded her talent field. Behind her, 10 light-colored wings appeared. "Sister, my talent is SS level Holy Light Angel. When your talent is fully developed, you should be able to have 12 wings. Although it is not as good as your SSS level Holy Angel who can eventually reach the 18 wings, it can be considered as some training experience for this kind of talent. With you, that's definitely a professional counterpart. Luo Qingyan's eyes lit up and she smiled. Thank you, Sister Miao. I will seriously consider it. After seeing Lin Miao's move, the other 4 people's faces suddenly fell. Yes, I almost forgot that Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan are basically bound. As long as he can please Luo Qingyan, Lin Ran will definitely not be able to run far. But after all, they are in the same school, so they shouldn't have to choose the same one, right? But no matter what, Lin Miao already had the upper hand in the competition. The 4 of them were depressed. But if you are depressed, you still need to do what you need to do. As the leader of this operation, Lu Chufeng patted Lin Ran on the shoulder again. Okay, brother Lin Ran, let's just say this first. Freshmen will start school soon, and the 5 of us still have things to deal with, so we'll take a step ahead. See you on campus then. With that said, the 5 people said goodbye to Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan one by one and left the conference room. Seeing that Zhou Yi, who was waiting at the door, finally got the chance, he quickly got in and said with a smile. Shaoran, Qingyan, how are you? Is the choice of college going smoothly? Lin Ran smiled. We have been specially recruited by Qingjing Yanyan University in advance, and all matters have been discussed. I'm just waiting to report in 10 days later. Zhou Yi immediately gave a thumbs up. Top 1 university in the country, discerning. But, isn't the time they started school a little too early? Luo Qingyan smiled and said. Formal enrollment in major universities has not yet started. It's probably just us special recruits who went so early. It's probably for the purpose of cultivating talents earlier and faster. After all, many forbidden areas within the Dragon Kingdom are not peaceful now, and there are conflicts at the borders from time to time. This is when manpower is in short supply. The sooner we become a fighting force, the sooner we can take the pressure off the country. Zhou Yi nodded and sighed. I feel relieved if you can have this kind of thinking. Then, I am here to wish you a great success. Both of them clasped their fists and smiled. Then let me borrow some good words from Uncle Zhou. Within these 10 days, Lin Ran was practicing crazily. He had taken out the email rewards he received from the college entrance examination from the storage bureau and exchanged the coupons for physical items. 35 high-level genetic enhancement solutions, 3 gold-level magic equipment exchange coupons, and 5 gold-level heavenly material and earthly treasure exchange coupons. The first gold-level magic equipment. Black stone necklace. Category: necklace. Quality: gold. Equipment effect: increase the wearer's magic resistance by 10%, physical resistance by 10%, and maximum magic power by 10%. The second piece of gold-level magic equipment. Black stone armor. Category: breastplate. Quality: gold. Equipment effect: increase the wearer's physical resistance by 30%. The third piece of gold-level magic equipment. Black stone leggings. Category: leggings. Quality: gold. Equipment effect: increase the wearer's physical resistance by 20% and increase the maximum magic power by 10%. These 3 pieces of equipment increased Lin Ran's magic resistance by 10%, physical resistance by 60%, and maximum magic power by 20%. Coupled with the fact that Lin Ran's vitality and life recovery speed are more than 10 times that of normal people, the fleshiness is terrifying. Especially the physical resistance has increased to 1.6 times. Awakened beings whose main output method is physical attacks or ferocious beasts and aliens will definitely vomit when they encounter Lin Ran. Moreover, these pieces of equipment do not need to be worn on the body. They only need to be placed in the inventory of the consciousness space to exert specific effects. Except for weapons. The upper limit of the equipment that can exert effects is 7. So Lin Ran won't look weird. Of course, if you wear it outside, no one will stop you. Among the 5 natural treasures, Lin Ran chose Qingning Nectar. Qingning Nectar. Category: heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Quality: gold. Effect of taking: increase the user's maximum magic value. The specific effect is related to the quality. After eating these clear nectars and training for 10 days, Lin Ran's combat effectiveness soared. It went directly from 800 to a full 2,700. The reason why I deliberately increased my maximum magic value is because the effect of the soul ring is extremely overbearing, and it is restored according to the maximum magic value. And the price for Lin Ran is almost nothing, which is simply not comfortable. At present, his maximum magic value, with the increase of Qing Ning mana and the increase of magic equipment, has almost reached more than 3 times of the previous value. Coupled with the recovery effect of the soul ring, if Susanoo is not used, Kamui and Amaterasu will not be so luxurious, and basically there will be no shortage of mana. This is another big improvement for Lin Ran. After all, the CD is 25 seconds, and the soul ring that restores 25% of the maximum magic value at one time is almost equivalent to restoring 1% of the maximum magic value per second. Use it sparingly, and it's equivalent to infinite mana. Now let him go through the copy of the college entrance examination alone, and he will probably defeat it in 3 minutes. It's a pity that during the college entrance examination, you are not allowed to wear magic equipment, nor are you allowed to take heavenly materials and earthly treasures in advance. Otherwise, it will be regarded as cheating and you will be directly disqualified from the exam. In addition, although the treasures of heaven, materials and earth are easy to use, they are not unlimited. There is a limit to the certain attributes that each person can improve at each different stage of strength. For example, if Lin Ran eats too much Qingning nectar, which can increase the upper limit of magic power, the effect of eating it later will be reduced until it has no effect in the end. This is equivalent to pouring water into a container. Once it is full, no more can be poured. Either choose to improve your strength and make your container bigger, or you can only eat heavenly materials and earthly treasures that improve other attributes. Therefore, it is impossible to become infinitely stronger just by relying on heavenly materials and earthly treasures. However, since heaven, material and earth treasures are an extremely scarce resource and there are very few ways to obtain them, most people don't even have to consider having enough. Otherwise, major colleges and universities will not use this kind of thing to attract talents who perform well in the college entrance examination. At this time, Lin Ran had just finished training in the morning and was resting on the bed after taking a shower, stretching his body comfortably. Although the genetic modification fluid he had taken before was still not effective, he still couldn't stop training every day. After all, training can speed up the digestion of genetically modified fluid in the body, and it is quite useful to be able to take new genetically modified fluid earlier. But before Lin Ran could fully relax, there were knocks at the door, 3 shallow and 1 deep. With this method of knocking on the door, Lin Ran knew who was coming without even opening the eternal Mangekyo to look. So, he jumped out of bed carelessly, gently opened his door, and said lazily, "What?" Luo Qingyan glanced at Lin Ran's nonchalant look, rolled her eyes and said, "It's time to report for duty. Are you still lying here? I'm really not afraid of wasting time." Luo Qingyan's outfit today can be said to be quite youthful. Light blue denim shorts, a white loose short-sleeved t-shirt, and the green silk that originally hung down like a waterfall was tied into a tall ponytail by a bunch of bright red silk. Under this attire, it can be said that her figure is fully displayed. Proudly plump, round and firm breasts, a waist that is full of golden proportions. Those beautiful legs are the best of the best. As white as jade, smooth and slender, plump and elastic, without a trace of excess fat, nor has it lost its beauty because of being too thin. As for the beauty of her appearance, let alone the fact that she is recognized as the school beauty by the whole school. Her lips are bright on the outside, her teeth are white on the inside, her eyes are bright and her eyes are good at gazing, and her dimples support her power. Even if she doesn't even need to put on a little makeup, she is an absolutely beautiful existence. Luo Qingyan is a famous goddess even in nearby counties and cities. If it weren't for the fact that Jianggu City is too small and not well known, Lin Ran feels that she could compete for the top spot on the list of the most beautiful schoolgirls in the country. That is to say, Lin Ran has been with her for a long time, and his concentration has been cultivated to a quite transcendent state. Otherwise, when you first meet him, you will definitely be distracted for a while. So Lin Ran smiled and said, "Didn't I ask you to buy the tickets? Why, have you already bought them? Plane or high-speed rail?" Luo Qingyan proudly turned the black gold card in her hand. "I said, you really don't have the temperament of a nouveau riche at all. Now the two of us combined have a net worth of over 100 million, who is going to buy a ticket?" Lin Ran raised his eyebrows. So, Luo Qingyan was even more proud. So, I went to rent a small aircraft, which is enough to bring us safely to Qingjing. Lin Ran's face immediately twisted. Small aircraft, can you fly that thing? Is it safe? Or are you planning to jump out of the plane and throw me down because you have wings and can fly? Luo Qingyan punched Lin Ran angrily. You are such a fool. The current aircraft are all automatically controlled by artificial intelligence, okay. You only need to set the flight path and you can reach your destination. Who is driving a manual transmission at this time? Lin Ran breathed a sigh of relief. That's it, then I'll feel relieved. Have you packed your things? Why don't I see you bringing your luggage? When Luo Qingyan heard this, she excitedly stretched out her little hand to Lin Ran's eyes and shook it at him. Chang Chang. Before Sister Miao left, she secretly slipped a space bracelet into my hand. The inner space is a full 20 cubic meters. After putting away my things, I still have more than half of it free. Lin Ran was a little surprised. She is really willing to spend money. The value of this bracelet is probably close to over 100 million. And her hands are so fast. We were standing so close, and I didn't even notice when she stuffed it into you. After saying that, Lin Ran smacked his lips in regret. It would have been nice if I had been driving Sharingan at that time, just so I could test my pupil power. If there is eternal Mangekyo, I don't know if I can see it clearly. Luo Qingyan smiled contemptuously. Oh, that's natural. It doesn't matter what rank they are, and what rank you are. How about it? Do you want to consider leaving your things here? Let me help you carry them. Lin Ran also smiled softly, waved to her proudly, and showed her his soul ring. It's just a space storage device. It's not like I don't have one. And mine is slightly larger than yours. Where do I need you to help me carry it? Luo Qingyan was stunned. But I saw you put it on before the college entrance examination. That is to say, it was not given to you by those people from Yanyan University. Where did you get it? Lin Ran smiled and spread his hands towards her. I passed by the vegetable market one day and picked it up from the feet of an ant. Luo Qingyan's face darkened and she punched Lin Ran again. Go to hell, your excuses are really bad. Put your things away and let's set off first. Luo Qingyan was quite measured. Out of absolute trust in Lin Ran, since Lin Ran had dismissed the matter, she probably didn't want to talk about it for the time being, so she naturally wouldn't ask. This reminded Luo Qingyan that on the day she finished the college entrance examination, she was shocked by Lin Ran's special abilities when she replayed Lin Ran's pass. At that time, she felt that Lin Ran was not as simple as he usually seemed. Underneath his carefree and smiling face, there may be some unknown and shocking secret hidden in him. Later, there was a big discussion on the internet about Lin Ran's possible bloodline abilities, but no results were reached. After all, the information about the previous bloodline ability, Eternal Night King, that is most similar to Lin Ran's Eternal Mangekyo is classified information. In addition, it is so old that even the current president of Yanyan University, the white-bearded old man, does not know about it. Only Lu Chufeng, who usually likes to study ancient books, learned about it accidentally. The only conclusion they came to was that Lin Ran's origins were absolutely extraordinary. There may even be a mysterious hidden family behind it. Luo Qingyan scoffed at such remarks at first. After all, as someone who had stayed in the orphanage with Lin Ran for a long time, she knew Lin Ran very well. But after seeing this mysterious orange ring today, she couldn't help but start thinking about this issue again. Could it be that Lin Ran really has a big story behind him? A hidden family, reincarnated soul, mysterious jade bottle, or is it the grandpa in the ring? Seeing Luo Qingyan's dazed look, Lin Ran probably guessed what she was thinking, and smiled. Okay, I've already packed up my things, let's go directly. Don't make any wild guesses about me and my ring, it definitely won't involve anything dangerous. Whether it's for me or for you. Be good. After saying that, Lin Ran touched her head. Luo Qingyan twisted slightly and broke away from Lin Ran's touch. She crossed her arms and sneered. You don't need to tell me this, I know this too. Can you still plot something against me? After saying that, Luo Qingyan gently held Lin Ran's hand, her eyes softer and firmer than ever before. No matter who you want to be your enemy in the future, I will always stand by your side. Lin Ran was a little dumbfounded by Luo Qingyan, who was suddenly in the second grade. Ah, let's go quickly, your imagination is too exaggerated. I don't even know how to pick up this second grader. Luo Qingyan's face twisted, and she made a fierce gesture of wiping her neck to Lin Ran, then took Lin Ran's hand and left. You've ruined the sensational atmosphere. Let's go, let's go. Hey, what a piece of wood. Looking at Luo Qingyan pulling him away in front, Lin Ran fell into a trance for a moment. He couldn't help but think of the first time he met Luo Qingyan. It was a relatively cool evening, and Lin Ran, who had just traveled to this world for only 10 days, felt disappointed because he suddenly turned into a child. Usually during this time, he likes to stay alone at the gate of the orphanage, looking at the outside world and thinking about the future. I was deep in thought that day when I heard the urgent barking of dogs and the screams of a girl. Although Lin Ran's body has become that of a child, his brain and courage have not changed, and he ran out to take a look. Then, he saw a big wolf dog chasing the girl, and a girl who was as cute as a porcelain doll, but covered in mud and panicked. The girl had already run up to him, but in the blink of an eye, Lin Ran made his choice. With one hand, he took the girl and ran into the courtyard, and with the other hand, he pulled the iron door of the orphanage, trying to keep the wolf dog out. Unfortunately, the inability to adapt to the new body became an obstacle to this trip. After all, his strength at that time was too small to pull the heavy iron door. Seeing that the ferocious wolf dog was about to attack, Lin Ran could only hold the girl and roll to the side, barely dodging the first blow. But after he fell to the ground, he really didn't have the strength to stand up. Fortunately, the guard who heard the sound and rushed over kicked the wolf dog away and saved the two people who were almost bitten. This girl is naturally Luo Qingyan. Stimulated by the panic and embarrassment before and the joy of surviving the disaster, Luo Qingyan hugged Lin Ran and cried loudly. It was not until the dean came to comfort her that she fell asleep due to exhaustion and sleepiness. Later, Luo Qingyan stayed in the orphanage and stayed with Lin Ran. Because she said she also had no father or mother and had been homeless for a long time. The only thing that can prove his identity is the piece of jade he carries with him, which is engraved with the 3 characters Luo Qingyan. Luo Qingyan was already extremely precocious at her age, and her mind was far ahead of her peers. Many times, people will habitually tell protective lies. But Lin Ran seems to be more profound. The two of them usually look very preoccupied. When the moonlight falls every day, they like to stare at the moon together in a daze. But what was particularly tacit was that Lin Ran never asked Luo Qingyan why she appeared there so unreasonably. Luo Qingyan never asked about Lin Ran's origins. They even rarely spoke to each other, and when they communicated, they mostly used eyes. Lin Ran only remembered that after that time, Luo Qingyan never shed a tear again. These days, everything in the orphanage seemed to be as usual, and there was no disturbance caused by Luo Qingyan's joining. Except for the guard who kicked down the wolf dog, he was expelled from the orphanage due to pressure after he apologized humbly to the distinguished dog owner. Later, the two went to different schools to receive compulsory education, and they gradually lost contact. Until her senior year of high school, Luo Qingyan transferred to another school. By the time Lin Ran finished his trance, the excited Luo Qingyan had already taken his hand and brought him to the aircraft she rented. She patted him proudly and said, "How's it going? Isn't he handsome?" Lin Ran was stunned. "It's okay, so. In fact, if Lin Ran hadn't just remembered some sad things, which made Lin Ran unable to calm down for a while, he would have wanted to complain about how ugly he was. Luo Qingyan was very happy now. Finally your taste is not too bad this time. Come on, get in the car, I'm going to take you for a ride. Looking at the aircraft flying freely in the sky, Lin Ran could only sigh with emotion at the power of technology. The surface area of the blue star in this world is probably tens of thousands of times larger than that of the previous world. However, the area where humans live can only occupy 1% of it. More of them are natural secrets and forbidden areas occupied by ferocious beasts and alien races. Moreover, human settlements are not very close to each other like in the previous world. Except for a few residential areas, the distances between other cities are still quite far. After all, due to the threat of ferocious beasts in the wild, if the living area is too large, the pressure on defense will be too great. Therefore, what human beings have tried their best to do is to open up connections with each other and build some safer transportation channels. Normally, underground passages should be the safest. Flying isn't bad either, as long as you don't pass through no-fly zones in dangerous forbidden areas. Due to the large number of ferocious beasts on the ground, few people would choose this more traditional way of traveling. Lin Ran couldn't help but smile when he saw Luo Qingyan, who was not sitting still but looking around and running around with excitement, yelling and pointing out something weird when she saw it. Stand up. She is still different from herself, a time traveler who has lived through 2 generations. Even though she has experienced many things prematurely, she still cannot conceal her childish nature. The reason why she chose the aircraft is probably related to this. Lin Ran first took a look at the aircraft's distance and time. Jianggu City is not very far from Qingjing. According to artificial intelligence calculations, they will be there in about 2 to 3 hours. After all, this aircraft is really fast and very stable, and you don't feel any shaking when you sit on it. You can also enjoy the scenery along the way and take a look at the nearby landforms. It can only be said that the rent of 100,000 dragon coins is not a loss. At this moment, a prompt from the system suddenly sounded in Lin Ran's mind. Ding! The fishing system reminds you that prey has been hooked. Please return to the pond to deal with it in time and start the next fishing. Oh, are there new abilities coming? Lin Ran cheered up. Luo Qingyan was the only one next to her now, and her attention was mostly focused on the bottom. It is quite appropriate for me to enter the spiritual space at this time. Although the time of this Zudian fishing system is completely random, if you can throw out the empty hook as early as possible, the time of hooking should also be advanced accordingly. With a change of thought, Lin Ran's consciousness sneaked into the spiritual space. Seeing the swaying fishing rod, Lin Ran didn't hesitate, rushed forward in a few steps, and pulled the rod up in one fell swoop. Then, he heard a prompt from the system. Ding! Fishing in the heavens is successful. Congratulations to host for getting the product, Op fruit no side effects version. Looking at the heart-shaped fruit that looked like a lychee appeared in his hand, Lin Ran took a breath of cold air. It's actually Op fruit. And it's a version with side effects eliminated. The ability of this fruit is quite buggy. As long as you eat this fruit, you can create a global or hemispheric exclusive space called room. Within this space, ability users are simply god-like existences. Not only can it cut off, exchange, and splice everything at will, it can even achieve the effect of mind exchange. If this trick is used on Luo Qingyan, she can start touching herself happily. Ahem. Lin Ran shook these messy thoughts out of his mind and continued to think about it. The most outrageous thing about Op fruit's ability is that the life cut off by the ability user will not die, or even bleed, and can still live as a complete life. It was like undergoing a luxurious surgical operation. Therefore, using the ability of this fruit to peel off bullets in the body, discharge toxins from the body, or fight back against pathogens will have excellent effects. This kind of effect of healing injuries and diseases is definitely like a dimensionality reduction blow now. No doctor would dare to say that his medical skills are so good. In addition to cutting, within space, users with abilities can also perform space exchange and space transfer regardless of obstacles such as walls, manipulate objects, and release high-frequency electric shocks. All in all, people within the scope of Op fruit room are equivalent to being pushed onto the operating table as patients, and can only be slaughtered by those with abilities. Quite a perfect and all-powerful fruit. If I had to talk about a shortcoming, it would probably be that when using this fruit's ability, it consumes too much magic power and physical strength. Basic skills. Room slaughterhouse, room baton, room scan, room transplantation. Electric shock techniques. Counter shock, high-frequency scalpel, gamma knife. Special skills. Scalpel, mind exchange, injection launch, death knife, antibacterial weapon. Awakening skills. Kroom narcosis, Kroom impact wave, Kroom piercing wave, silencer nagi. Which one is not a big spender? Lin Ran sighed. It can only be said that it is good to have the SS Talent natural spirit body that can regenerate blood like crazy and the special equipment soul ring that can regenerate mana like crazy. Otherwise, I would really be sitting on a mountain of gold and would have to starve to death. As for the ultimate ability of this fruit, to perform an operation of immortality on others at the expense of the life of the ability user, Lin Ran simply forgot about it. Are you sick? Sacrifice yourself so that others can live forever. Overall, Lin Ran was quite satisfied with this new product of the fishing system. He opened his mouth and ate the op fruit. Presumably it is because the negative effects of devil fruit have been removed. Op fruit is not unpalatable at all, but rather delicious. In just a few seconds, Lin Ran had completely eaten it. Later, Lin Ran felt this strange ability boiling inside his body. Room slaughterhouse. Following Lin Ran's manipulation, with himself as the center, a light blue spherical space appeared, directly covering the entire consciousness space. Lin Ran glanced at the big tree not far away that had been used as a stake many times, and with a thought, he cut it into several pieces. Moreover, not a drop of sap flowed out of the cut tree. Room baton. Lin Ran raised his finger lightly, and the remains of the tree that had been cut into several pieces really moved according to his wishes. Counter shock. High-frequency voltage with a shock wave effect immediately burst out from Lin Ran's hands. Lin Ran took a step forward and directly applied the voltage to one of the tree trunks. Z-la-la-la. The powerful electric shock that escaped directly completely scorched the tree trunk, and all its internal tissue structures were damaged on a large scale, and then were crushed into pieces by the powerful impact that followed. It's so useful. If a living person were to be attacked by his attack, even if he didn't die on the spot, he would probably go into shock immediately. After testing some of op fruit's abilities, Lin Ran swung the fishing rod first, put the fishing rod into fishing mode again, and then exited his consciousness space. After returning to the aircraft, Lin Ran discovered that Luo Qingyan's excitement had not subsided yet, and she was still chirping and pointing around. However, Lin Ran didn't have that thought anymore. Feeling slightly tired, he gently lay on his side on the large seat and fell into sleep comfortably. I don't know how long it took, but Lin Ran was gently shaken from his sleep. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Luo Qingyan's flawless and pretty face. Dead pig, don't sleep, we'll be there soon. Get up and take a look at Qingjing. We will be over Qingjing soon. Lin Ran blinked first, and after regaining his consciousness a little, he slowly walked to the window. Looking down, it was quite shocking. Even the tip of the iceberg in this city seems to be endless. Moreover, the prosperity of the area can push Jianggu City far away many times. Is this Qingjing? Sure enough, it's not comparable to a small Jianggu City. Lin Ran murmured to himself. Luo Qingyan also walked to him and lay down by the window with an expectant look on her face. That's natural. After all, this is the capital of our Dragon Kingdom. I have checked the information just now. Even if only the urban area is included, the size of Qingjing is larger than nearly 1,000 Jianggu cities. Yanyan University alone covers an area larger than Jianggu City. Lin Ran stretched out comfortably. That is indeed an exaggeration. Where do we land? Luo Qingyan used her biochip to check the map, and then said. Qingjing is different from Jianggu City. Aircrafts are not allowed to fly in the sky, so we can only land in the suburbs first. Then take their subway or other means of transportation and rush to the city. After landing, the lease transaction of the aircraft will be completed and it will automatically fly back to Jianggu City. So we just need to get to school first. I have already planned the specific itinerary in advance, you can just follow it. You don't need to worry too much about other things. Lin Ran nodded and said with a smile. Good. With Luo Qingyan caring about her, he would naturally be happy to be the hands-off shopkeeper. Not long after, the two small aircraft landed at an outpost outside Qingjing. Basically all the people stationed at the outpost are soldiers used by the Dragon Kingdom to defend the city's borders. After seeing the two people's registration forms at Yanqing University, the soldiers were also in awe. Soon after passing the review, they were allowed to board a military vehicle and sent to the subway leading to the city center. After saying goodbye to the soldiers and riding the subway for a while, the two finally arrived at the gate of Yanyan University in Qingjing. It's really not that big. Lin Ran sighed in his heart. When I heard Luo Qingyan talk about it on the aircraft before, I only had a relative concept in my mind, but I had never felt this kind of shock. When I see it now, this gate alone is extremely majestic. Since the only people who rushed to the school at this time were the talented freshmen who had been specially recruited in advance and the old students who were practicing at the school, there were not many people at the check-in point at the entrance. The two of them quickly arrived at this small check-in point and handed over their check-in forms. The person sitting at the registration point, judging from her appearance, should be a sophomore or junior. After seeing the two people's registration sheets, the senior sister's eyes froze and she looked up at them. "Are you Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan?" Lin Ran gave her a strange look. "That's right, it's us. Is there any problem?" The senior sister smiled strangely, and while starting to fill in the information on the registration form for the two of them, she explained. "You two, it can be said that you have become famous in our Yanyan University." Lin Ran raised his eyebrows. "Why?" The senior sister sighed. "Because now there are rumors in the outside world that you two signed an unprecedented high-price contract with Yanyan University. The treatment promised by the school is far beyond that of others, and it has reached a quite unreasonable level. How can other people not be jealous of this? Not to mention these specially recruited freshmen, even many sophomores and juniors will probably criticize you." Hearing her say this, Lin Ran laughed. "I thought it was something. It turned out to be this. Then since they are not convinced, just let them come to me at any time. I heard that our school also encourages competition. Anyway, I accept everyone who comes. They want to issue a challenge, but I don't want it." Not to mention the senior who was filling out the form, Luo Qingyan next to her glanced at Lin Ran in surprise. "Okay, you kid, are you crazy about Shaoran? I've never seen you so arrogant on a daily basis. Why is everything different now that I arrive in Qingjing? It seems that the bloodline ability he possesses should be extremely powerful." The senior sister coughed twice in embarrassment. "Junior Lin Ran, it's really not the senior sister who is talking about you. Since you can become the top scorer in the college entrance examination and have a special bloodline, you are indeed a peerless genius. But our Yanyan University, as the top university in the Dragon Kingdom, the most indispensable thing is genius. The most basic requirements for admission are A-level talent and excellent college entrance examination scores. Or maybe it's a particularly powerful B-level talent. This is especially true for those of you who were specially recruited. Generally, the lowest one is an S-level talent. Bloodline ability is not just for you alone. As a newcomer, it's better to keep a low profile. Sometimes you suffer a little loss and it will be over if you tolerate it." Lin Ran nodded seemingly seriously. "Thank you for your kindness, senior sister. I will try my best to accept it." Xiao and restrained Zhang. "How could I be afraid when I have the invincible Kamui dimension?" The senior sister then smiled and continued to help the two of them complete the registration form. Luo Qingyan, who knew Lin Ran well, rolled her eyes at the side. This guy Lin Ran must have not listened. He was obviously trying to deal with this senior. After all, the senior sister also has good intentions, so there is definitely no need to argue with her here. If he encounters someone who comes to provoke him later, Lin Ran will definitely take action directly. After another detailed exchange, the two of them learned a lot more about Yanyan University. Yanyan University is divided into 5 departments. They are: the Qilin Department, which focuses on fierce battles, is headed by Lu Chufeng. Lin Miao, the department director, restored the Qinglong Department. The White Tiger Department is under attack again, and the department director Ling is hurt. The director of the Suzaku Department, which focuses on magic and secret arts, is Gao Xian. The Xuanwu Department focuses on defense and durability, headed by Xu Lei. Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan have already met these 5 people, and their impressions are pretty good. Of course, although the differences between these systems are generally like this, it is not the case that people who rely on explosion to make a living go to the Xuanwu system, and those who rely on defense and protection go to the White Tiger system. As long as you are strong enough and the department head wants you, it doesn't matter where you go. Therefore, the division of departments is not absolute. But now, after all, in the school, only the freshmen who are freshmen have come through special admissions, and those who apply for college through normal channels have not yet arrived. So the selection of other departments has not started yet. Another important piece of information is that in Yanyan University, the hardest currency is not dragon coins, but credits. This is also what makes top universities different from other universities. Credits can be used for basically any expenses within the school. Food, medicine, equipment, natural materials, genetically modified fluids. It can be said that they are all good things that are hard to find with a lot of money. If you want to get credits, one way is to do tasks and go to the task hall to pick up tasks issued by the school. The more difficult the task, the higher the credits you can earn. In addition, it is distributed every month based on the strength ranking among students. And when entering the school, there is a basic reward based on the college entrance examination results. For example, Lin Ran now has 1,000 basic credits as soon as he enters the school because he is the top scorer in the college entrance examination. In addition to being ranked number 1, you can get an additional 100 credits every month. As for Luo Qingyan, who is one less than him, it is 950 base plus 95 monthly. The lowest guarantee is only 100 plus 10. You have to be at least in the top 500 before you can go beyond the guaranteed range. Credits can also flow freely among students, and transactions, bets, etc. are allowed as long as they are not forced to buy or sell. The only thing strictly prohibited is to buy and resell items outside the school after using credits. Once discovered, all remaining credits of the student will be cleared and all opportunities to obtain credits within 1 year will be cancelled. In serious cases, you may even be directly expelled from school. After all, the original intention of establishing the credit system was to cultivate more strong men and talents for the Dragon Kingdom. A large part of the source of resources comes from the Dragon Kingdom government. If you are found in such a situation, it would be nice if you were not punished as treason. Okay, the procedures and everything have been completed. Now your student system has been activated and can be viewed in the biochip. The student system has map guidance for our Yanyan University. You can go to the accommodation area first, activate your accommodation and put your luggage away. It's not impossible to go around the school or something. It should be noted that at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, our school will have a relevant meeting regarding your special admissions for freshmen. You can just go directly to the conference room then. I won't waste your time anymore. After the senior sister finished speaking, she handed the 2 registration forms back with a smile. After Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan received the registration form, they thanked their senior sister and walked into the campus side by side. Lin Ran first checked his so-called student system. Name: Lin Ran. Gender: male. Student ID: 30,770,625,000,001. Department: none. Grade ranking: 1. Credit: 1,000. The 100 credits arrived pretty quickly. Then, he glanced at Luo Qingyan again. Name: Luo Qingyan. Gender: female. Student ID: 30,770,625,000,002. Department: none. Grade ranking: 2. Credit. It seems that when viewing other people's student information, the credit information cannot be seen. All you can see is the ranking. Quick, let's go to the dormitory first. I heard that the dormitories for special admissions students at Yanyan University are completely different from the dormitories for ordinary students. They are all villas on the top of the mountain. There is transportation available for rent at the door. Let's go. Luo Qingyan's eyes were twinkling with stars. Lin Ran glanced at her helplessly. How come you know everything? Luo Qingyan chuckled. Oh, you think everyone is like you, a second uncle who doesn't care about anything. Now after understanding through various channels, I already know everything about Yanyan University. Lin Ran rolled his eyes. I hope so, Half an hour later, Lin Ran in the passenger seat finally breathed a sigh of relief, opened the door and got out of the car. This suspended car was driven by Luo Qingyan, and it was indeed driven like a bumper car. Several times, I almost hit pedestrians, vehicles, trees and walls. Fortunately, although Luo Qingyan's driving skills were outrageous, her reactions were really quick and she could turn around in time every time a critical situation arose. Lin Ran was really thrown off. After getting off the bus, I was still a little dizzy. Now Lin Ran can only be thankful that on the way to Qingjing, the small aircraft found its way automatically. Otherwise, Luo Qingyan would definitely take them both to the ditch in the forbidden area. Luo Qingyan, who was sitting in the driver's seat, didn't feel dizzy at all. She jumped out of the car with a smile and looked up at the hillside. It's so beautiful. Looking at the coordinates on the map just now, our house should be at the top. But the paths on this mountain are all stone roads, leaving no room for cars, so we can only walk. After saying that, Luo Qingyan sighed regretfully. Lin Ran glanced at her. Pull him down. With your driving skills, how dare you go up the mountain? I'm afraid you're not going to perform a direct dive on me. At that time, it will definitely be the result of a car crash and injuries. Luo Qingyan pretended not to hear, pulled Lin Ran and ran up the mountain. Soon, following the guidance on the map, they arrived next to the villa on the top of the mountain. How spectacular! This floor area is probably 2,000 square meters, and it's also a 4-story villa with a rooftop. However, how do I remember the information I looked up before? The top special enrollment of Yanyan University, the villa area should be less than 1,000, right? Luo Qingyan couldn't help but sigh. And just when Lin Ran opened his mouth to say something, an email was suddenly sent to his biochip. Lin Ran took a closer look and saw that the signature was actually the head of the Qilin department, the man with long flowing hair, Lu Chufeng. Shaoran, Qingyan, this is an automatic email. When it is detected that you have arrived at the door of the villa, the email will be automatically sent. Originally, in this freshman's dormitory, the villas for the number 1 and number 2 students are in 2 separate buildings. The area of each building is about 1,000 square meters. But after I knew you were coming, I asked someone to renovate the 2 villas to form the twin villas you see now. The 2 villas are connected together, and there are internal passages that allow you to travel by yourself. Of course, each of you will also retain your personal space. Anyway, you have such a good relationship. Living closer will make it easier to communicate and exercise together, right? And the various facilities in these 2 villas have been renovated, which is quite luxurious. If you want to spend a little more money, that's no problem. Okay, no need to thank me. When the time comes to choose another series, just give more consideration to our Kirin series. Lu Chufeng. Luo Qingyan must have received this email from Lu Chufeng. After reading it, she couldn't help but blush, and immediately hit Lin Ran's chest with her pink fist. Why, is this a good thing you entrusted him to do? Lin Ran laughed. Of course it's not, but Director Lu is indeed serious. Anyway, I am quite satisfied. I haven't fought against a strong person yet. We should really communicate more. After Luo Qingyan heard this, her face turned even redder. She moaned for a long time without saying a word, so she could only let Lin Ran hold her hand and walk into the villa first. After the short visit, Lin Ran nodded with satisfaction. This twin villa is really nice. It looks like one building on the surface, but in fact, its internal structure is 2 different buildings. In addition to the gate on the 1st floor, there are also passages to and from the 2nd floor and the rooftop. Of course, if he wanted to go through, he would have to have the permission granted by Luo Qingyan, so forcing his way in was not feasible. And throughout the villa, it can be said that all kinds of facilities are available. There are even rooftops and lawns on the 1st floor, as well as swimming pools and small gardens. As for the bed, it is also ridiculously large, extremely soft, comfortable, and full of elasticity. No wonder Lu Chufeng said that if you want to have a little more fun, that's no problem. Let's go to the nearby snack city to get something to eat. I'm quite hungry anyway. It's not too early now. Come back after eating and wash up. There is a special admissions meeting tomorrow morning. Lin Ran stretched out comfortably and said. Hearing Lin Ran finally speak seriously, Luo Qingyan's blushing face finally recovered a lot, and she snorted softly. Then let's go. While the 2 were visiting the villa, a group of people were also having a small meeting in the office of the president of Yanyan University. Sitting in the middle is still the old man with white beard. I saw him looking at Lu Chufeng and saying, "Have people been brought here?" Lu Chufeng smiled proudly. The 5 of us go out together, and there is still someone who can't handle it. I must have brought the person to you, boss. And they have both arrived at the special enrollment villas now. The white-bearded old man nodded. This is worthy of praise. But, every year, 10 gold-level magic equipment and heavenly materials and earthly treasures, plus 1 platinum-level magic equipment and heavenly materials and earthly treasures. This condition is indeed a bit exaggerated. Even though we at Yanyan University have great achievements, it is still a bit too extravagant. Lin Miao, the head of the Qinglong department, said with a smile. Anyway, boss, what you said at the beginning was just to bring people back. You have no restrictions on the terms of the issuance, so it must be as we wish. If you don't talk about anything else, just tell me whether people are here or not. The white-bearded old man smiled bitterly. Okay, all of you are young, energetic, and glib. I can't speak to you. However, it seems that the students who have received some rumors now have strong opinions on these two people. If this matter is not handled well, will it become too big when the conflict breaks out? Ling, the director of the White Tiger department, smiled sadly. Boss, isn't our consistent training philosophy to encourage students to learn from each other? Lin Ran and the others attract hatred from others, which is a good thing for their growth. Lu Chufeng was still nearby and spoke again. Moreover, King Yangyi's talent can definitely smash the face of anyone who provokes Lin Ran. Now he has determined that Lin Ran's mysterious talent is the King of Eternal Night, and he is extremely confident for Lin Ran. Lin Miaoye suddenly smiled mysteriously. Besides, this little girl Luo Qingyan is also quite extraordinary. In her body, in addition to the SSS-level talented holy angel who is stronger than me, I also feel the existence of another force. The most outrageous thing is that this power seems to be of the dark type. Xu Lei, the head of the Xuanwu department, his brows suddenly jumped. What, you mean, Luo Qingyan also has bloodline abilities? And it's a dark bloodline ability? Lin Miao thought for a while and said. It's not necessarily bloodline, anyway, it's definitely a special ability of the dark system. Having the holy light angel, I am the most sensitive to the power of holy light and darkness, so it should be impossible to make a mistake. Gao Xian, the head of the Suzaku department, touched his chin thoughtfully. Then she didn't use this power in the college entrance examination. This little girl's concentration and fortitude seem to be very deep. And the most difficult thing is that Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan are both from poor families, hardworking and determined. I don't know how many times stronger than those arrogant high-ranking disciples. Lin Miao rolled her eyes and said, Brother, my superficial talents are already SSS-level hexagonal talents, holy angels. It's not difficult at all to beat the most difficult college entrance exam dungeon. There is definitely no need to expose other things like Lin Ran. When the white-bearded old man heard this discussion among the 5 people, his eyes almost turned into slits with laughter. Okay, if you think about it this way, our investment in them will not be a loss at all. We at Yanyan University are really confident about this year's exchange competition for college freshmen. In this case, tomorrow's special admissions meeting will be chaired by Shangqing, Gao Xian and Xu Lei. Chu Feng, you and Lin Miao, please don't leave yet. Their expressions changed immediately. This is a great opportunity to get closer to Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan. They also want to get them into their department. Lu Chufeng was the first to shout. Boss, this is not fair. Why can the 3 of them go, but Miao Miao and I can't? This opportunity to show your face in front of special admissions students is very precious. Lin Miao also hurriedly followed. That's right, even if the 3 of them are to host the meeting, at least we have to be present. The old man with white beard laughs. I've been taking you with you for so long, and I still don't understand the 5 of you. Xiao Miao, the 3 of you and Chu Feng don't know about the little tricks you and Chu Feng make to win over Lin Ran and Luo Qingyan. How can I not know about it? You 2 are already far ahead of the 3 of them, so you have to let others participate in the competition. Hearing this, Gao Xian, Ling Shanqing and Xu Lei were all stunned, and they all glanced at Lu Chufeng and Lin Miao with ill intentions. Okay, you guys, you have a lot of tricks up your sleeves, and you even do some tricks. Seeing that they were exposed by the white-bearded old man and questioned by 3 colleagues, the 2 could only laugh twice and stopped complaining. Let's take a look around the head office, just don't say anything. No, you 2 are like monkeys and can't settle down at all. Who will be able to watch you when the time comes? It's unfair, quote. On top of the dormitory on the top of the mountain. At this time, Lin Ran had finished drinking and eating, and was in the practice room in the basement of the villa, punching and kicking the dummy in front of him. He has been immersed in this practice room for 2 hours. The configuration of this practice room is much better than the big tree in the consciousness space. After all, it is a practice scene simulated using advanced virtual technology. Not only within this nearly 50 square meters of space, all damage can be restored. And you can simulate the combat power and defense power of the dummy at will, and you can even enter a template for it to make it move. Now the template Lin Ran inputs for him is a warrior template with a combat power of about 5,000. After being punched and kicked by Lin Ran 3 times, the dummy took out a bamboo knife and fought back fiercely, slashing Lin Ran's abdomen with one blow. Even though this sword is just an ordinary bamboo sword, in the simulation of the scene, it actually has the strength of gold-level magic equipment. However, this knife could only make Lin Ran feel a small pain. Lin Ran smiled slightly and opened Op Fruit's room area with his backhand. Counter shock. A large amount of high-frequency voltage gathered on his right hand, and Lin Ran slapped the dummy on the heart. Even though the combat power of this dummy was as much as 5,000, it was still unable to resist this special attack. It fell to the ground, twitching and unable to move. Kamui. Lin Ran locked the dummy with his left eye and activated the power of Kamui contained in his own eye. In an instant, a space-torn Uzumaki appeared on the torso of the dummy and immediately tore it into pieces. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.